Welcome back to the Box2Box podcast.
This is episode 48 and nothing new in the Prem. Both Manchester teams drop points. Where do they go from here?
And in Serie A, Juventus with a historic loss to Atalanta 4-0. Is this the end of Motta's tenure at Juventus?
And should European teams be looking into playing games in the USA?
All that and more on the Box2Box podcast.
Let's go.
You ain't going home,
Your
bro.
Honor, I'm sorry. Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Marks on the pitch and Bangula starts our next.
Game tomorrow, would you rather Saliba or Mbappe?
Right? Saliba right now.
You wouldn't.
Saliba right now.
Sacrifice your face when you lie. That's what
Right now.
Welcome back, boys. How we doing?
Well, listen, Sunday, box-to-box banger out this weekend.
This is true.
This was honestly a very fun video to record. Not gonna lie, if you guys haven't seen it, it's on our main channel. But Vavra put a lot of love into this video. We all put a lot of love into this video. So, what did you guys? Once you saw it edited, what did you guys think?
I
of the
liked
video?
it. It's not our usual thing. We're not like debating and stuff, but I like the trivia sometimes.
Historic ending also.
Historic.
For the channel.
Historic ending. I'm
A
not
lot of
gonna spoil it.
controversy.
Questionable. No, but the people in the comments were saying, "Oh, firms remontada," but
I think the host was kind of I'm not gonna say who was in
Impartial.
the final or anything. The host was very unfair.
How?
Brother, some of those
Don't
questions
spoil it,
some
but
of those
how?
questions that the host pulled out for the two contestants, they were in one person got very easy questions and one person got insanely
that is
Yes.
difficult
cap.
questions.
And
That is so
chances.
cap.
Yes.
and chances.
You're referring to one singular question, and that one singular
Look, we
question,
don't wanna-
nobody. Yeah, no, switch
don't
the
wanna
topic,
spoil
bro.
it.
Because
Switch the
I was
topic,
watching
bro.
from the side, and one person got robbed.
The
Just-
host intentionally
take a
gave
loss,
one
bro.
person
Sometimes you gotta
hard
take a
questions
loss.
to get the other person in the game, but it's okay.
Someone ran out of time too.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
Conversations, bro. Listen, this is just box to box. There's
always going to be controversy
controversy.
when dealing with
It's a
box-to-box.
good ending. What can I say?
But yeah, I think the initial response, I think the comments, they really like the concept, they like the video. So
But mostly we we enjoyed.
Yeah, we
making
enjoyed that
We
one.
enjoyed the process afterwards. It's fun when it's a higher production video.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see us getting better at those type
Yeah.
of videos. And I still know that it's sick to see that we have a lot more potential to make them even better.
And there were so many post-production issues with this video. It wasn't even funny. Cuz you audio-wise, we had all our mics set up and everything, and then you get all the mic files, and you're like, God damn, this one's not as easy to use as the last time. So then you're contacting audio people. How do I fix it? How do I fix it? I don't know any of this shit. So for me, it was kind of a learning experience also.
How many with 10 different mics at some point?
No, it was 6 mics, it was one for each of us, but it's just
Oh, no, Millie was
my computer can't even handle. I had to ask producer T for his computer so I can
He's
edit
got
it
the best
because
computer.
My computer was gonna explode editing this file. So
Vavra was at the studio for hours on end. My goodness. Trying to get that
There's a
done.
learning curve. I'm sure we'll pass through it, but
and
Yeah.
we do have kind of a pretty big announcement. We are getting a
we do have a
headquarters in HQ.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it's not really an announcement
Yeah.
for them. It's more
yeah,
for
but
us.
it's,
Yeah,
it's
bro.
cool. It's cool. Like as we're moving along, like we want to include them also into our journey.
Yeah,
So
sure.
us getting an HQ is kind of like a big stepping stone, you know?
Oh, yeah, the box-to-box office.
Yeah, exactly. So should be a cool times are ahead in the box-to-box world.
And we just opened our PO box, which is exciting.
And so far, we've already gotten people asking us
I know.
certain things.
A bunch of stuff,
They want
yeah.
to send us some kits. I mean, I got this Huddersfield Town kit, but,
But that was
Shout out
directly
Umbro.
from Umbro.
this was
Umbro.
directly from
That was an
Umbro.
Umbro exclusive right there.
This might be one of the
The only Huddersfield kid in
ugliest
Canada,
kits
probably.
I've ever worn.
No, that's a nice kit.
It's not terrible.
Can you name me one player that's played for Huddersfield?
Danny Ward.
No. Why the fuck would
the
Danny
hell?
Ward ever play for Huddersfield?
Danny Ward currently plays for.
Are you sure?
Huddersfield.
It's possible. Danny Ward used to play for Liverpool, but I don't understand why he played for Huddersfield. But Aaron Moy, I
other
don't know
Danny
if you
Ward.
remember Aaron Moy, Australian center mid baller.
Mooy?
Mooy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, then I
exactly. Yeah, Millie
No,
knows.
not that Danny Ward. The other Danny. Wait, which Danny Ward? You're thinking about the one that plays at Leicester right now.
Yeah, he used to play at Liverpool.
Who the fuck
Wait
is
a
Danny
minute.
Ward?
Wait a minute. You're telling me
That
there's
Danny
more?
Ward played at Huddersfield too. I'm thinking about another Danny Ward.
Damn, so Huddersfield just filled with
Bro,
Danny
am I tripping? This is not the Danny Ward that played at Liverpool.
Goalkeeper?
A striker.
No.
Striker
that's
and
not-
goalkeeper.
Played at Rotterdam.
Yeah, no. Okay, no.
It's a legend right there.
Rotherham. Not
Rotherham?
Rotterdam. Rotterdam's in
Feyenoord?
Netherlands.
And this is the Danny Ward
Yes.
you're talking. What a coincidence.
Rotherham.
I named you 2 players, so.
There we go.
Wanker.
He knows his knowledge. He gets to wear the kit.
2-for-1 special right there on the Danny Wards.
That's no, never mind. That Inter defender we always make jokes of brother. Baresi
Baresi
brother.
Baresi brother.
It's a legend.
Bro,
of sport.
Baresi played for my club. No, he played for Milan. The brother. Oh.
Yeah, it was a big thing when he was there. Anyways.
That was the
Not
funniest.
gonna get
That
rage.
debate
I'm
was
not gonna
hilarious.
get rage
This
bait.
was maybe 5 years ago. We were having a debate
Yeah.
with Millie that Inter had no legends, and he pulls up a black and white 1940s
No,
picture.
he
No,
said we
it
do
was
have
60s.
legends.
I'm like, of
and he
course we have
started
legends.
typing them out. Facchetti, Suarez,
Mazzola.
Suarez, Luis Suarez. He put.
The first Suarez.
We were like, we're not
even the-
giving you Luis Suarez.
Not even the biggest Suarez.
Even though Luis Suarez back in the day
Won
was
a
a
Champions
baller.
League,
Yeah,
won
he
a
was a
Champions
baller.
League
Ballon
before.
d'Or also, I believe, also a winner.
Not with Inter, but yeah.
And then he put Baresi and then in quotations
I put brother.
because he knew.
Because I'm like, I'm
knew
working
they were
with
real
I'm
brother.
working with people that are so dim-witted that I know I'm gonna get a comment. Oh, Baresi doesn't play for Inter. He played for Milan.
so you
I
took
have to
precaution in your own
specify.
brother.
I'm like, don't try to question me.
And that hurt you.
I think that
And
made
it
it
hurt
worse.
me at
In
the
the
end of
end,
the
it
day.
hurt
It
you.
backfired a lot harder than I thought it would.
Not even,
Because it made you realize in context that you have to say the
Yeah.
brother of the better one.
not even the
Exactly.
biggest brother.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's like a people
But that was
Inzaghi
actually
situation.
Baresi's brother.
Yeah.
Both brothers played at the same time, but 2 different teams, rivals.
Crazy work, bro.
So yeah, every time there was a derby, they'd play against each other.
Must have been a weird time at Christmas dinners.
Must have been.
Yeah.
Could I wouldn't know.
The Turam.
You were there.
Turams, yeah, Turams is kind of like that now.
And the dad, especially because the dad. Those are weird Christmas dinners.
But yeah.
Anyway.
Besides that, I mean, next
there
week
was-
F1. Next week
Yes.
F1.
Yes.
F1 premiere. So I'm gonna.
Don't
be
worry, the
tuning
people
in.
that are interested in the F1, I know they
Yeah.
like our talks. We're gonna get into it next. I don't want to talk about testing and takeaways from that, but Ferrari sandbagging.
I was
That's
here.
No, you're banned. You're banned.
I
from
was here
talking about
yesterday
F1.
or Friday,
Yeah.
and I was with Millie, and he's like, bro, Chrysler's joining F1.
No, Cadillac.
Cadillac, whatever,
Chrysler.
same shit.
Wait,
And
who
then
owns who? One of them
Cadillac,
owns-
Cadillac,
Cadillac.
Cadillac
Chrysler,
owns-
Cadillac,
no.
Fiat.
No.
Oh my God, the car geek in me is so fucking crazy right now.
No, that's Chrysler. The Stellantis owns.
GM.
Yeah, GM owns
Okay,
Cadillac.
whatever.
Yeah.
Cadillac is joining F1, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro,
As the 11th team.
he's freaking out. I'm like, bro, that's like adding Ipswich to the Premier League. Like, who cares?
I don't
You
think-
don't know about racing,
Bro.
That's what happened.
Cadillac is not gonna win an F1 title.
Bro, Cadillac has racing division.
Yeah.
Cadillac is not winning an F1
Yeah, but-
title.
but GM's
it's not
also
competing
creating their
with
own-
McLaren.
Yeah, but
it's not
GM
competing with Ferrari. It's not competing
But
with
it-
Mercedes.
I
You
don't
don't know
think
how
that's the
Formula
plan.
1 works.
Yeah, it's not correlated like in,
Yeah.
in football.
And why,
Brother.
in your opinion, does Audi have a chance? Because they made the R8?
Audi's a more prestigious brand, and they will invest more money
What
into
the
their
fuck does
F1.
prestige have to
Bro,
do with it?
Cadillac has to worry about selling fucking cars before fucking F1.
And Audi
Yeah.
doesn't?
Yeah, well,
Audi sells a lot more cars than Cadillac.
Isn't the racing division to get more sales?
Exactly.
Brother,
Yeah, exactly.
1960s they were buying Cadillacs. It's not the 1960s.
Bro, do you know
no more.
about Haas?
Ca-
Do you know
bro.
about the Haas team?
Yeah,
how
and
much
they're
they work
fucking
with?
garbage.
They have a good car this
Yeah,
season.
but they have like they're in other racing. They're like in IMSA. They're in a bunch of other things. They have a
Cool.
But you know, small Haas,
They're
bro.
actually good.
Haas
That's
makes
not- that's not how it works,
that's
bro.
like a player saying
No,
he
that-
played well in the Guatemalan 4th division
No.
and then you
No,
move up to
IMSA, like,
F1.
you can't compare. Like you can't make the comparison because you don't know.
What the
stature.
fuck is IPSA? You keep
IMSA.
saying IMSA. What does IMSA stand for?
International Motorsport Association? So don't test me on something.
You're a smart ass motherfucker, Millie.
Like you know, like Le Mans, like 24 hours in Le Mans,
Yeah.
like it's super prestigious. That's like Ipswich, right? No, that's actually one of the most
No,
prestigious
24
races
hours
in the
of Le
world.
Mans, I
And
know
Cadillac
24
races Le Mans.
Cadillac races in Le Mans.
Okay.
With the hyper, like in
With
And
their
they do
hypercars.
hypercar
well, or they
prototypes.
just finish
They do
mid-table.
well.
They
do
finish
well.
mid-table.
Bro, if you're making hypercars,
But it's not about finishing mid-table.
It
It's
is.
not like
They added a useless team that's never going to compete for anything.
Yeah,
It's
but now
not.
the interesting.
Bro, this is not football.
This
They
ain't
have
your
fucking.
conversation.
They have. Bro, that's like saying a new NHL team is never gonna do well. That's literally what you're saying.
No.
Yes, because there's
Because
salary.
NHL, there's literally
this.
things and stuff to promote as much competition as possible.
Okay, so
In
now
F1,
so I wanted you to say that because
Yeah.
that proves exactly why you're wrong. Because the Formula One is exactly that. The lower table teams
Yeah,
have
they
much
get
more
more
win
testing
tunnel
time.
time.
That's why
They have more
Williams is
testing
always
time.
fucking last. That's why
but
all these fucking
no, but
teams
you
are
got-
last.
you need to know the
same
context
teams
of
who are always at the
Williams.
bottom are always at the bottom, and the
Because
teams who are always at the
Williams
top are
are
always at the top.
Because Williams
Because
threw
Williams are ass.
Williams threw the last 3-4 years because they said, okay, we're gonna wait till the regulations are updated and then we're gonna bring in
Bro,
Carlos Sainz and Alex
Exactly.
Albon.
And that team is going to be very good in
gonna be
2026 because
decent.
they have a good driver
Yeah.
duel. Not just that, bro. Aston Martin is going to be dog shit this season. Very prestigious car racing association.
Yeah.
Aston
Heritage.
Martin
They're gonna
is
be ass.
nowhere near a Ferrari or a Red Bull or a. Your best argument is Red
That's
Bull.
crazy.
Your best argument.
Mentioning Red Bull like next to Ferrari.
No, but your
in
best
terms of-
argument is Red Bull, who came in with no like prior mechanical, but they're Honda. It's
No, they were
Red Bull Honda.
well, they were. I think they
Back
were the
then when they
Jaguar
ju-
team. I think they were the
Yeah,
Jaguar
they
team. They
take over-
bought Jaguar, and then they made their own division.
Listen, in Formula One, if you're a well-run team, over time you
do
could
well.
get better and better. You can move, and that's the thing about F1 is, just because you're not that good, you can still be entertaining because there's always mid-table fights.
But even for Cadillac too, getting another like an actually reputable American team in F1
That isn't
gonna
Haas?
that isn't Haas. Like it's gonna make a lot more waves than Haas did in the States. So, anyways, that's a good move. But once the first race
Yeah.
happens, I'm sure we'll have a conversation about it
We're
even in the
actually going to
Discord.
see where everyone quick prediction. I'm saying McLaren is going to be the Red Bull, like you know our Red Bull
Like the
Verstappen was
standard?
always- that's McLaren this season.
I don't know. I don't think Norris has it.
Verstappen's winning.
That's okay.
Verstappen's winning. Red Bull's winning.
Crazy take.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna say I think last year Ferrari had a 1-2 first race. I'll probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
Ferrari 1-2. I'm that
Hamilton.
confident.
You're
Ham-
saying Ferrari
Leclerc
1-2
first.
on the season?
No, 1-2 for the first race.
We don't give a fuck about the first race. What's your
Oh, this is
prediction
for the season. This is for the season. I
Oh,
thought
for
it
the
was first.
season?
I thought it was
Yes.
first race.
I said the first race, brother.
Who
We're-
cares
we're-
about the first race, bro? The season.
That's a conversation for another day.
Who's
bro.
gonna win the first match week? No, bro. We want to know the gold stuff. Who's gonna
but
win the
races
season?
are different than match weeks.
I don't know. My heart wants Leclerc world champion. Ferrari constructors. What do you want me to tell you?
I'm saying Ferraris lift something this year. Either
constructors, at least the
or driver.
constructors.
Did you see Lewis Hamilton said him and Leclerc are the best driver duo in the history of F1?
Yeah. Then Ayrton Senna and Alan Prost don't exist.
Bro, even Hamilton and Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, rookie Hamilton. I don't know. This is kind of cooking though. They're cooking. They're cooking.
We'll see. We'll see how that dynamic works.
First time I'm excited
have-
for F1 in a
I
while.
do not want Hamilton
yeah?
to win.
You say this at the
win a world
beginning of
champ.
every year.
Yeah,
And then you
I
end up
say-
disappointed at the end of every year.
Welcome to the Tifosi, fra.
Millie, would you
Welcome.
take a Hamilton World Driver Championship?
Not before
as-
Leclerc.
No, but let's say before Leclerc.
Got to think team first. Team above all. So if he wins a championship, then Ferrari
Okay,
wins a championship.
either Hamilton gets a World Drivers
Yeah.
and Ferrari don't get the constructors.
Or Ferrari constructors, and then someone else wins championship.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good.
Then
comparison.
Ferrari
I
constructors.
just don't want Hamilton to win. I don't want
know.
him to pass Schumacher and be considered like in the history books as the best of
Yeah,
all
I
time.
know, but we brought him in to win, so like it's gonna happen eventually. But I want Leclerc to win one at least. I'm hoping this is the year.
That's Il Bambino right there.
That is the Il Bijou, Il
Yeah.
Principe. That's what he is.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We'll see.
I mean, back to football now, but we'll start it off, gentlemen. United, Arsenal ends 1-1. Before we recorded, there was a lot of differing opinions as to how the game went, different perspectives. So, Pala has a bit of skin in the game with Arsenal, Varvar, Man United. So, ends up 1-1. Boys, what did you think of the match?
Just like a fucking mid off, bro.
I really don't want to speak because I know it's gonna just
If I
turn
speak-
into a rage bait session.
But you
back
don't,
and
bro,
forth.
calma.
Bro, we don't rage bait out here.
Bro, they scored off of a free kick, and on the live stream, I remember when we last played them, Arsenal can only score off of set pieces, and now
This is the rage bait.
now Manchester United.
I don't want to give my
Their-
opinion.
their
Cooler
last-
heads prevail, bro.
their last 7
Cooler
out of their
heads
8
prevail, but
goals
me
were
keeping
from
my
set
cooler head
pieces.
involves me not speaking.
And it was relatively. We were.
You're
Arsenal were
comparing
better.
yourself to 15th place in the table. You realize that, right?
Okay, that's
Still
fine.
mentioned. Yeah, but you think you're
West
definitely
Ham-
underperforming.
West
You're not a
Ham-
15th place team.
The players in our team deserve to be 15th, other than Bruno Fernandes. We are.
I don't think he's wrong.
We
I
are
think
a
that's completely
15th. Okay, okay. We're a 12th place team that's
Yeah.
slightly underperforming. You prefer that?
I don't think you came into the
If
season.
you look at our starting
Well,
11, bro,
what
did
would
you
you
realize
say?
in Big 25 we pulled up to Arsenal?
Big Casemiro and Eriksen.
Big Casemiro, Big Ericsson, Mazraoui, Dalot, wingback,
Last season was the
Lindelof
same
at the
thing.
back.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck was
Brother,
that lineup.
Last season was worse.
No, it wasn't.
The lineups were worse.
No, it wasn't.
Who was there that wasn't here now?
Okay, but you're Rashford.
Bro, you were playing. Who's your center back duo last season with the injuries?
It was
Maguire,
Leach and
Lindelof?
Maguire.
No, with injuries because Licha was out.
But okay, but
Bro, you
you're
ended
talking about with injuries.
I know, but you
Now our back line's pretty healthy right now.
bro. Ten Hag competed with a
We just
worse
don't have
team on
Licha.
paper.
Competed? What's competed?
Where'd
What's
you finish in the
competed in
Prem
your
last
head?
season? Where'd you
Bro,
finish?
where the fuck was it going? It was going like this. It was fucking straight downhill. Look at the beginning of. Look, literally, you're just rage baiting.
Where I'm not. Where did you finish in the Premier League last season?
It's not about last season. Ten Hag got this season, and we were in fucking 11th when he
Bro,
got sacked. Or
you
some
have.
shit.
I'm saying you have better players this season than Ten Hag had last season, and he finished in the Europa League spot.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Ten Hag was here this season, at the beginning of the season.
And he was doing better than
No,
Amorim
he
is doing.
wasn't.
He was.
No, he wasn't.
Ten Hag was
I
not
would need
15th place,
stats
bro.
to back that up.
He left in
Stats.
So you what? You wouldn't have sacked Ten
Yeah,
Hag?
it was a different time.
I would have sacked Ten Hag.
So Ten Hag was doing an amazing job, in your opinion.
No, he wasn't.
No.
But Amorim's doing a shit job.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Bro, 4
This
months
rage
with the
bait
same.
is crazy.
4 months with the same team, and you've dropped. Bro, Ten Hag left in 12th. After 12 matches, you guys were still 12th. Now you're 14th.
Well, I mean,
Make it make sense.
well, listen, you could talk about like Ten Hag and Amorim all day. It's just more like this specific game. Like, did you feel that United kind of dropped point? Like, do you think United could have came out with a win here compared
I think
to Arsenal?
it's Arsenal right now are not good, and Man United played good. I think
mean,
we played good.
I mean,
Great analysis. Bro.
I don't know about good.
Right
Like,
now,
I'm
Arsenal are not in a good
Bro,
moment.
we lost to West Ham at home.
You're not in a good moment.
We lost 1-0 to West Ham at home. That's like West Ham is United right now level. They're around each other in the standings, but they have a new manager.
what's the analysis here? That Arsenal are shit,
No, Arsenal are in the lull right now. So
but they beat the team that Juve lost to 7-1 though. What the
And now it goes. Here we go.
It's the loop.
Here we go.
back. We're sending it back.
if I don't
Starting
understand
off-
the rage bait, it doesn't work.
Arsenal
Okay, try to-
tied to
okay.
United. Okay,
Okay.
let's go. Let's play the results game. Okay.
I hate that result.
Arsenal tied to United, so that means
then
United
Arsenal-
are tied with
okay, so
Arsenal. Now,
Arsenal
Arsenal beat
beat
PSV
7-1,
7-1,
and
and
we lost to
PSV beat you. Does that
we-
mean Man
but-
United would beat Juve
But
7-1?
but Juventus beat PSV in the first game. So we have
3-0.
1-1. So technically
1-1. So that means you're tied with
So we
PSV. So
drew-
that means I would beat you 7-1.
So we drew to Arsenal. We drew to United.
no,
Drew to United.
that's not how it
We
works.
lost to United.
Yeah, 7-1.
It's crazy.
Go.
But you guys
We
tied
take
to
that.
Liverpool this season.
Yeah, so we're
So
tied
we
with
drew
Liverpool.
to Liverpool.
You didn't tie Liverpool?
Through the results.
Through the results table.
results thing that you were doing.
But I mean, Bruno, free kick, masterclass. I'm not gonna
And
lie,
big
it was
chance
a-
missed,
It was a very
so you
nice
could have
free
had
kick.
two.
There was a lot of
The
chances.
good, the bad, and the ugly of Bruno Fernandes today.
Yeah.
Scored a
Good,
free
the bad,
kick.
and the ugly. The man of the match, but sure, yeah.
Okay, missed a
The good,
sitter
the
in the
bad, and
90th
ugly.
minute, but yeah.
David Raya.
David Raya,
Very good
David
performance.
Raya was not man of the match, but he was fucking insane.
Like
Yeah, he saved Arsenal this game. Could have been a lot worse. But Arsenal did have some decent moments.
Yeah, we
Not
dominated
gonna
the
say
second
clear-cut chances. I think Manchester United
Dominated
had
the
more
second
clear-cut
half.
chances.
The worst part is that you say that knowing it's gonna piss me off.
But I said that with full honesty in the other
Yeah.
room when I first got here. We watched the highlights, bro,
Man United should have scored 4 goals in that second half.
and we should have scored 3.
So enhance. You were down -1 on the expected goals, but you dominated the second half.
How's the
Arsenal
XG
fan
looking?
logic.
Check the XG.
I
I'm
think it's
curious.
Man United won.
1.6. It's bro, get the fuck. You're not claiming 0.02 XG win, bro.
0.3.
No,
let's
it's
see.
not.
I'm curious.
But XG's not.
Personally, I thought you guys both had the similar amount of
1.65.
chances. Yeah.
1.65 to
confirms it.
1.61 with 6 both shots on
I
target.
thought it was pretty 50-50
XG's
in terms of chances.
XG's a false stat. We all know this.
And
In this
Yeah.
situation,
Judge-
yes, because that
judging games,
yeah, 'cause-
Mazraoui chance, that's a goal 99.
Yes,
That's
but
just
it's
a
Mazraoui.
ridiculous wonder save.
But it's Mazraoui.
It doesn't matter who
Yeah,
the
anyone
fuck.
should be
That's a
putting that
shot directly on the net. The goalie sprawling the whole other way. It doesn't matter who the fuck shot it. If that was Haaland and that got saved, are you saying, oh, that was Haaland? No. who
No, but if
cares?
it's Bruno or instead of Mazraoui that's taking that shot, I have more faith in Bruno, obviously.
Bro, it was a good shot. I don't care who the fuck took it. I don't care. It was a
Yeah, it
good
was a good
shot.
save.
Raya made a ridiculous save. I think Man United played well today. I see translation like building blocks too for next season.
It just looks like you have tactics. Whereas
I
under Ten Hag,
agree.
you never looked like you had tactics.
Nowadays, I'm just waiting for the summer window if I'm being for real, and Europa League. I kind of care about Europa League just because that's CL. If anything,
Bro, how many times has this guy said, I don't give a... Like,
I don't give a
literally
fuck
quote.
about like no, but you have to understand. If I finish 4th and I win Europa League, I don't care about winning Europa League. But I'm 15th. I want to win Europa League because I have no chance at making top 4. So my only way into CL is by
100%.
winning Europa League.
But this is what we told you.
The trophy
when you
doesn't
said
matter.
You didn't give a shit about
the
CL.
trophy
Europa League.
itself doesn't matter. I
It
don't give a
saves
fuck about
it saves
the
your
trophy.
season, but your season is still a failure.
Like you guys were trying to flex Atalanta winning Europa League
They beat Leverkusen.
as a sign of Serie A being very strong, or he was.
Well,
I think
when Inter,
I would too.
Inter, Roma, and Atalanta were all in their
see,
respective finals.
I
Or
don't
Fiorentina, sorry.
care about that.
yeah, but at that
So
moment,
when-
Atalanta was not a Champions League
Yes.
team. They weren't one to
They
compete
made
with
Champions League every year before, and they're about to make Champions League this year also.
For
Yeah, well, it's
context,
building blocks.
They beat Leverkusen in the final. That's we don't care about the Europa League. They beat Leverkusen in the final, which is now you see Leverkusen is a good team. Like it's context, and that's
Got fucking pumped and dumped on the
Yeah,
weekend
and we
by
all
fucking
said-
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and we all said that Bayer Leverkusen will go through.
Yes.
So, like, I don't
So,
know.
So
I don't know what
are
your
we the
argument is.
barometers of not
zero ball knowledge. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
But so then let's say Manchester United players they end up winning the Europa League and they start taking celebratory photos and stuff. You're gonna go on there and say,
No,
Bro,
they won a
stop
trophy.
celebrating.
They
This means
deserve
nothing.
You're acting like
"What do you mean I'm acting?
For
You're
me-
telling
for
me you
me,
don't give
winning-
a shit about." You
winning
should
an-
tell them leave the trophy there.
No.
Leave it there. Don't even bring it back because it's not important. We're
They should lift
Manchester
up a
United.
sign saying we made CL.
It-
is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
exactly.
I am not labeling a season a success if I win Europa League.
No,
I'm not asking
nobody
for
is.
You should.
success.
If Milan win the fucking Supercopa, the fucking Ugats,
That's his Europa League.
they should celebrate winning a trophy. But who cares? Like
Yeah, the
at the
season was a
grand scheme
failure.
of at the grand scheme of it, Man United still have 8 to 9 shit players in their starting 11 every week.
It's literally like you're going downhill. You have a little bump, and then you're still going downhill.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Like it
Like
doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't save your season. Well, it does save your season, but it's a failure.
Going back to my original point, though, with Amorim's tactics now looking like it's actually bringing fruit, my issue with Amorim's tactics is not in games against Arsenal. It's more in games against, like, the lower
Liverpool.
league teams because we need to actually be, like, progressive and actually try and,
Score.
yes, because that's the main issue, to be honest. And
In theory, that should get fixed when you buy players that aren't toiling.
that aren't, yeah, exactly.
Doesn't help with
That
Hoyland.
aren't
Yeah.
toiling.
I think Hoyland actually needs to be arrested for crimes against humanity, but that's a whole other.
Tell him to
that's a
take
whole
tell him
other
to put
discussion.
Vlahovic in the back of the cruiser at the same
Yeah, oh
time.
my god, at that point.
The amount of
But,
hype we
uh,
heard about this guy. Oh my god.
But my
Predicted.
oh my god, this is the best day ever.
We saw
Best
all of
day
this.
ever.
Quasimodo predicted this.
Exactly.
Literally.
All of this.
But my entire, if we get knocked out of Europa League, it's basically just summer.
vibes.
I'm just worried about the summer, and I don't want to see I don't know. If you actually look at our 23 or 24 man team, depending if you include youth prospects and all that, I actually think we need to sell like 18, 17 people.
Damn.
Fair.
So you have a lot to do.
And a lot of players that I would consider having faith with last year coming into the year, I would consider now. Like Onana, I'm tired. Like Onana,
Ooh.
no,
Whoa.
Back to
listen,
Inter, back to
listen,
Inter.
listen.
Bro, I predicted all.
He's good. It's just you.
A goalie can't make so many mistakes because after a while you start being the problem.
Start adding to it.
You agree, right?
I've been
So
saying it.
Magnan exactly the same.
But Magnan is not yet at that level. Onana's been at that level for way too long.
I don't know.
Well, since he joined
It's
Manchester.
Riz
United, I would
versus
say.
harassment.
It really
But-
isn't, but okay.
Crazy that you're getting looped into this shit.
It's actually fucking
but
crazy.
that
Bro,
Magnan
Magnan
gets
has
looped
had
into
3
this
bad games. Okay, maybe this season you could say this whole season he was garbage. That doesn't take away that Onana has been shit for the past 3 years.
Okay, past Onana, a player.
2 years.
A player like Dallo, who is a decent player, but in the system has no obvious fit, should be moved on in the summer. And
sure.
past United managements would have kept him and just tried to force a square in what's a saying?
A square in a circle hole.
Yeah, exactly.
A
And
circle in a square hole. I don't know what
a
they say.
peg,
Square
something
peg in
like
a circle
Square
hole.
peg, yeah. So,
What are you saying peg for, bro?
but a player like Dallo, to me, come summertime, should be out. Even though he's better than what we have right now in terms of right wing back options. If Ahmad's injured,
it really depends who you replace him with. Like, it's all contingent.
I think honestly, wing backs in back threes are probably the easiest position to
You can
replace in
find-
world football.
Yeah, you can find right backs that are offensive.
I don't
The
know
issue
about
with
that.
Dallo right now is that first of all, this guy hasn't been rested in a game. I think in like, I don't even know how many matches. I think 30 games in a row.
Who's your backup? Who would be your backup?
There's no
bro?
backup
There,
right
exactly.
now.
He's
So,
playing.
but one good thing about Dallo is that he's never injured and he can play 3 times a week, no issue, which is good. But still, I don't want him playing 3 times a week.
Mid.
That makes sense. But
But I saw striker for me is the biggest one in the summer. I saw links to Mateta. I would bring him in.
you would bring
Instantly.
Jean-Philippe Mateta.
I actually think he's a very good player. I rate him
But you can't.
the
I don't know. I feel like
like go for a young like
No, I think that's what they
an
did.
upgrade striker, like a bro,
Needs to
go
be a
for
proven one.
young
Proven.
Rasmus Højlund 3 years ago.
Yo, he's
But I
really
told you-
young.
I told you not to rely on Rasmus.
But you
Højlund.
know what? Weirdly, through our banter era, our striker position was actually always
Decent.
good.
Yeah,
We
you
got-
never had a
We had
problem.
Lukaku,
Zlatan, we had
Cavani,
Cavani, we had Lukaku.
Zlatan.
Like we always had good strikers. And then Rasmus Højlund joined my club. And I actually think Xerxes actually been playing well recently, as of recently. So
Deserves the starting spot.
I would say he still deserves a starting spot. I'm comfortable going into next year with.
Oh, that's a
Xerxes.
bad take, bro.
You didn't even hear what the fuck I said. This guy didn't. This guy did, I'm comfortable going into next year with just Bruno up top.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's a bad take.
Finish your Xerxes take.
Yeah,
My bad.
No, it wasn't about Xerxes itself. It was just
You said
I'm
Xerxes.
comfortable going into next year with our attacking options, including Xerxes, Garnacho, Bruno, Ahmad, and then
I
let's
swear
say
you didn't start the sentence like that before. You said I'm
I'm
happy starting the
comfortable.
season with
No, I said I'm
Xerxes starting.
comfortable. I'm not
But
happy.
with an addition
You're not
of
winning
an,
a Premier League with those options.
Yeah.
I know.
You can make top
That's
four
why-
with those options.
but you're
why.
saying with an addition of an extra striker.
With I like if you add a Jean-Philippe Mateta to that, I'm happy with that combination.
He's good,
don't know.
but I just find like, bro, he's not proven once again.
Sure, but Thuram wasn't proven before going to Inter.
Thuram was
He
a
was a
big
bit more
risk and he was for
consistent.
free.
Yeah, I think it was a bit more consistent.
Are you
Mönchengladbach.
fucking
No.
stupid?
Well, he
Bro,
was a-
this
he was
guy
a
scored
winger.
single-digit goals
Yeah,
at
no.
Mönchengladbach.
It was a free- it
You
was a
guys
free
literally
transfer? Okay,
signed
okay.
so more
Okay.
reliable, but you signed
Alright,
you
alright,
signed a
stay on
winger to
topic.
play striker who
Yeah,
scored
stay on
single-digit goals, but it's more.
Okay,
more
stay on topic.
Also in a worse team, but
Listen, I'm just saying that Jean-Philippe Mateta is gonna cost you 50 what 50 60
40 mil.
million?
40 million.
50
Okay.
bags minimum.
One was free, one's 40 million, but I don't know. If you're content with all these $40 million stop gaps,
It's not a stopgap. He's 27 years old.
Mateta's your.
That's not a
Mateta's
stopgap.
not
You can play
Manchester
top
United's
level.
future.
yes, I
It's
agree.
not the future. Come on.
It's not. I wouldn't. First of all, he's a player that I think if given a bigger club, he could scale his production. I think he's a very good player. Every time I
Scale his
watch him,
production, bro,
he scores 19 goals a year. He's at 16 right now. He scored 19 last
That's
year.
a lot.
for the past
That's
2
a lot
years though.
in 40 games.
Also, as a pen taker.
So he's not even on pens.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
so
but, bro, he's done it for 2 years.
yes,
2 years max.
But he plays right now the same exact formation as Amorim plays. So
No, it would work, bro. It would work. But
I think I
don't know if that's who
don't
should
think
be-
he's joining to be Haaland. He's not joining to be Haaland.
Okay, but what about-
But he's better than Højlund. Right now we have literally a black hole up top. I really
know,
don't think you guys
yeah.
understand.
Oh, we do
it's
understand.
a fucking massive gaping wide hole. And Fabrizio Romano said that Man United are circling around Gyökeres this summer also.
See, that's an upgrade.
who's available supposedly. Fabrizio Romano said there's a gentleman's agreement to release him for 60 to 75 million.
Amazing.
So
Like you take that over Mateta any day.
you just
No, but
called out
listen.
Mateta being unproven.
listen.
Gyökeres, he's
Gyökeres
proven.
is but
Super
then-
unproven.
But
What do you
once
mean? He did it
again,
in
you're
the Champions
falling
League.
into the same
but-
you're falling into the same exact thing that we did with Anthony. You bought.
Yeah.
He had an insane Champions League run before joining
Bro.
us, so we can't say that. You spent 100 mil on Anthony because Ten Hag knows what he's getting with Anthony.
you might be-
Licha Martinez, same shit. Onana, same shit. I don't want to buy a player. I want it to be consensus across the board. Everyone agrees that he's
So
good.
then-
Not just the manager wants him.
So then target an Osimhen.
Yeah.
But I don't. Osimhen, I think, has bigger issues. Wages are higher. One, the financial package is
the
going to be the
cost
same.
of
as
bringing
cost
in
of
a
guarantees.
proven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not a guarantee.
He is
In my
definitely a
personal
guarantee.
mind, he's
Yes.
not a
He's
guarantee.
easily 20 goals a season.
You have to understand, okay? We're gonna bring this issue back up. Physically, head and shoulders above anyone in Serie A, but Serie A is not a physical league,
Bro,
So if you
doing it
join
in
a physical league, What do you mean he's doing it in
He
Champions League?
did it
done
in
it in
Champions
Champions
League.
League.
He's done it, I said.
Let's see.
And
this
I don't
it's,
remember
it's
the
not
exact
even
goal he
it's
scored.
not even that, bro. He's a physical demon. He's perfect for
in
the Prem.
Serie A.
But for the Prem, he's
There's
perfect.
no,
You
but,
just see
no,
it.
but a physical demon in Serie A is just good.
He's
in the
he's
Prem.
a battling ram. Like he'll get you a goal no matter what.
What's the difference physically between Osimhen and Mateta? Can you let me know?
Oh my god.
Wh-
Different
oh
play
my
styles. Different play styles.
Same
bro.
exact height.
Bro, Osimhen can do it
They're the
while
same
running.
exact
It's not
height.
about the height. It's about the way they play. Mateta's more of a link-up striker. Osimhen is just a guy who runs at net. We all know this. You just watch the game, bro.
Yeah,
Bro, it's like comparing Xerxes with a Højlund. They're not the same player.
I don't know why
Like,
you wouldn't even take.
what the fuck
Osimhen.
am I
That's
hearing?
crazy. But 75 million for Gyökeres. Don't mind if I do, hermano. Like,
Osimhen has 7 goals in Champions League in 12 games. Like that's all right. It's nothing fucking crazy.
My go. Who do you want? Messi?
7 and 12, and you're gonna
7
say
and
that's all
12.
right.
If you're competing for the
But look
Premier
at
League,
season, bro. 2 seasons ago, he had 6 and 8
In Serie A?
in Champions League.
he had
Oh,
5 and 6. But then last year he had 2 and 6.
I don't know how you're
And we're a lot.
Caesar Pride
Man United is a
years.
lot closer to Napoli of last season than they are to Napoli of 3 seasons.
I'm
ago.
so surprised you're debating Osimhen. Like
I wouldn't
Manchester United-
sign-
It's out of
I
mind,
would-
out of sight because he's on the
But
headlines.
once again, no. But egos. He has an ego. That's undebatable. I think.
I thought that too, and that's why like even Juventus, because I've been seeing rumors. I don't know if he actually has an ego, or is being at Napoli with Di Laurentiis was
Bro.
the problem.
Football clubs have to know something that we don't, because a player that's available like that for 65 million going to Galatasaray doesn't make sense.
I think it's De Laurentiis Napoli, and
Yeah.
he's very tough
Bro.
to negotiate with.
They're
Impossible.
what negotiating?
Impossible
It was
sometimes.
pay 60. Can we all agree that Osimhen purely on skill wise is worth 65 mil? Eyes closed, you just
course.
pay it.
Yeah.
So why did no one do it?
Why-
There has to be something that
Maybe-
we don't
telling-
know.
Because maybe it wasn't 65.
It was 65. It was public information. 65 million.
So you're telling me Napoli would take a loss of like 40 mil on a guy who was
It wasn't a loss of 40 mil.
Well,
Bought
they
him for
spent
80.
100 mil,
No,
80 or
they
90.
didn't spend
Way more.
100 mil.
bro.
They spent 80 on him.
Maybe it was a
Osimhen?
paper 100 mil, but they fucking
Yes.
sold young youth players to Lille for 20 mil or 30 mil
Okay,
after
but
that.
the asset,
I think it
the
was-
asset that they bought,
I think it was 70
paid
mil.
100 mil.
I don't remember
Search it up.
specifically.
It's 100 mil. It could even be higher than that. To be
Okay,
honest.
Arturo Melo, they spent 80
Okay,
million.
We're going
Okay,
back
if we're
and forth.
fucking
Now we're just
debating
claiming
like
that now
technicalities.
every number we
Oh
ever
my
say
God.
is false.
Yeah, but I don't
The
know.
asset that they bought was 100 mil. Now De Laurentiis, is he going to lose 40 mil on that? Probably not. He's going to fight for 100
Bro,
mil.
he's available for 65. This is public I'm not debating. It's public information from everyone's tweeted this. It's not just me. So why is it that no major club, why is it that Chelsea tried to do it on deadline day and weren't able to?
Wages.
Yeah, so how much is he asking for?
No, Chelsea just don't want to give high wages. Like if he
And
asks,
Man United, we should just be giving out high wages. Like
no, but
No, but when you're-
Osimhen
when
will
it's a-
ask for 12 million, 13 million minimum.
that's I'd say even more.
Minimum. No, that's minimum.
What's his Napoli contract? Suppose he wants minimum whatever he's making on Napoli.
He's making
I don't know.
11,
10, 11. I don't know.
something like that. Because I know he's not the highest. Vlahovic is I think at 13 and he's the highest
Yeah,
paid.
Vlahovic is the highest paid.
I don't know. I don't think. I personally think I'm done getting these big name players who just sign on just to get a paycheck and then they're just done.
Okay, then
But I,
you need a pick. You're either going for the unproven or the proven. Because
made
Osimhen
my
is proven.
pick.
I looked up.
Mateta?
Mateta. I like.
But where does he
Mateta.
fit? He's an unproven then
He is unproven. No,
Okay.
well, he's proven in the Prem,
for 2 seasons.
if that's enough for him,
playing the exact same formation as he's going to be playing at Manchester United.
well, I mean, Gyökeres
Very
too.
translatable.
Gyökeres would be
Proven in the Portuguese league is not the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
He's
not.
failed at other teams.
You know how many
Gyökeres.
times I've bought players from fucking shitty ass leagues and they fail? It's not. I'm not. I don't care. I'm.
but then when they
Which
leave,
ones
they
are you
convert.
talking about that failed?
They leave because they're leaving the best league and going back to their shitty ass leagues.
Which strikers have failed? Who?
Not the strikers.
Wingers. Anthony,
We're talking about.
Sancho.
We're talking about strikers. Strikers is a different position. All you have to do is finish.
Okay, bro.
But you can still have a flop at
It's
winger.
not. All you need to do is finish and you end up like Vlahovic. No,
Well,
it's
no,
just not true.
Osimhen
Vlahovic does not
Osimhen
finish.
was one of the best finishers
Vlahovic
in
is a
Serie A.
good finisher, but that's all he has.
Not this season.
Not really, but
Yeah.
And sometimes all you need is someone to finish. Hoyland, if he finishes a couple of chances, he'd have 10 goals by now.
Oh, right now, if we had someone that just could finish, we'd be a lot better than we are right now. But the bar is not, can you finish? Yes. Okay, you're good enough for Manchester
Well, what do you
United.
want? A link-up striker that could finish, that could also run at them and could defend? Like, bro,
It's
you're
also
asking for
Amorim's
Haaland.
There's 5-10 strikers in the world that are able to do that. Yes, Manchester United should be one of the clubs that have a person that can do that.
I don't.
And you're going for Mateta.
So then you're going for
Or
Isak.
at least two of the three requirements.
I mean,
I don't think you could.
like, who do you
What do you
think?
mean? I don't think you could.
I think there's a lack of strikers at the moment that offer you that.
Okay.
And if there is, you're paying 100 mil.
But
No.
if you trust,
Isak.
Amorim,
Kolumwani.
Kolumwani is like 65 mil.
Bro,
if you
I
trust-
trusted
Exactly,
Ten
you're
Hag
getting a guy that's
also.
good.
yeah. But if let's say the trust that you gave Ten Hag, you give it to Amorim, who would you think he would sign?
Gyökeres.
That would
But
be his number one option.
What I'm saying is that if all the scouting department says Gyökeres is a very good sign, I would buy him also.
Okay.
I would agree. Go ahead. But for me, personally, after my past experience, I have trauma. I am not comfortable spending another 65 to 75 million on a striker that played in the Portuguese league and not in a league that actually
I agree with that.
matters.
I agree with that. You're seeing it. You're learning through
Yes.
failure, but you're learning.
Bro, sign players that played well in the Prem. You know the level is there. Why fucking dabble in all this? They might be 5-10 mil cheaper in Portugal, but there's risk involved going cheaper.
I'm solely agreeing with you on the Mateta one. I'm not saying that that's the goal.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
goal isn't Mateta.
The goal is to get back to a top 4 team right now.
Yeah, and like, bro, Milan used Giroud as a stepping stone to like, well, what their plan was to wait, and Giroud was a stopgap until they found
Their big striker.
their big
signing.
striker. And maybe this big striker signing didn't come at the time, but Giroud was the perfect stopgap because he scored goals, he finished, he did what he had to do.
was reliable.
With low wages and was it cheap. Mateta, you
He's
watch
not going to
him.
be coming in making 300K.
He
a
won't
week.
be making that because like when I looked up the Osimhen, apparently like the first thing that I looked up Osimhen wages, I saw a report from 3 days ago that Osimhen wants 20 mil.
Yeah.
So whatever. But
You're
to
not
go back,
like that doesn't make
Mateta
sense.
comes in for let's say 40-50 mil with cheap wages, and you get a guy that will score goals that strikers should be scoring in the Premier League, and it gives you time to wait for that.
And
bigger-
he has 12 months left on his contract, so Crystal Palace are either going to cash in or let him run down his contract, I guess. So,
Crystal Palace is also cooked if they sell him because that's Olise and Mateta, and now you're left with
God.
Eze and a bag of Ismaili Sars or whatever.
Yeah.
Ismail Sarr's had a good season.
Well, listen,
I know.
that's a summer thing that we're gonna have to worry about. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to talk about in
Yeah.
the summer,
Gonna be
especially
fun.
Manchester United. But looking at Amorim's 4 months so far as Manchester United coach, Varvar, as a Manchester United fan, how would you grade his season so far?
Are we comparing this to Ten Hag?
I'm comparing it to Ten Hag.
So then I would say a B plus or a B, I would say.
B plus, and you're 15th.
And you're
The
comparing
team, like I said before, the team level is 12th or 13th, and we're
So you just admitted.
only undefeated team in Europe, by the way, this season. Only undefeated team in Europe.
Most fraudulent undefeated team ever.
But I think he has made the Ten Hag had the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. We were leaking in goals like candy. It was actually horrendous to watch. I couldn't watch a single minute of those Man United games. Nowadays, there's actual attacking intent, and we don't allow 30 chances a game. So I would say it's been better.
Ruben Amorim, Ten Hag was working with guys like Johnny Evans for multiple games last season, so I understand why the defense was leaky. Amorim got a team that was in 12th place, got a January transfer window, and now is sitting in 14th, 15th. This should not be
Got
a
a
B+.
January transfer window. He signed one player, Patrick Dorgu, who's meant to be a developmental player.
It was more than what Ten Hag had at the beginning of the season.
No, it's not.
What's
Ten Hag well, first of all, Ten Hag requested De Ligt signing. He had him the whole first 2. We still shipped in goals like they were Amazon shipping for 1 day prime shipping.
regardless, saying it's positive when your team results-wise has downgraded, it is crazy.
I
Saying
see-
B+ is crazy.
I see our team being able to build on this for next year. What we're playing this year, I see as a lot more translatable next year into success than Ten Hag was going nowhere. I see a roadmap now.
A roadmap relies on like it's hopes. It's hopes that the players will make the system work. But I think right now, like
The system is good.
Højlund per se, like if he's a good manager, I don't know why he's making Højlund go pick up the balls in the corners and like Højlund should just be a finisher because he's not good at technical dribbling.
Okay.
So that's a choice that Amorim was making.
But then you actually look into this press conferences and he says, I don't want Højlund going there.
Okay, so Højlund is just an idiot.
Yes.
But then as a manager, the fact that you can't translate that to your own striker, and he's doing
Bro,
stuff that-
Højlund is starting for 2 more weeks and then Chido Obi Martin's starting. I don't think you guys understand. Højlund, I said Højlund needs to be arrested, bro. He needs to go to jail. Something needs to he stole 70 million from us. We need to press charges against him. Someone send that man to jail for what he did to us.
But I think when Amorim came in, there was so much optimism, and then it was just completely wiped away by initial poor performances. But then, yeah, Amorim would even come out and say, "Yeah, this team isn't good enough. It's not at that level."
That's not an
as-
excuse. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but-
that is not an excuse.
but as
It is
yeah,
an excuse. The team is not good.
Yeah, but as a manager, like Amorim must have known what he was getting into when he came to Manchester United.
This
Unless
isn't that 7-month thing. He didn't plan to take Manchester United now and win the Premier League by the end of the season.
Yeah, but at least calm the waters a little bit. Like I
He
still,
did calm the
Bro,
waters.
did
I
you
don't know about
realize when Amorim came in, you had hope. You still had hope. It was little, but you still had hope. He's killed all the remaining hope you had left. in
I
that club.
am the most delusional Manchester United fan.
Mm-hmm.
Me having hope does not rely on fucking. They could have appointed fucking Sean Dyche. I would have somehow found a way to say, "Oh my God, Sean Dyche finished 10th with Burnley. We're gonna finish top 4 now."
I'm saying like you.
I'm stupid. I'm a fucking stupid individual. You have to understand me, okay?
we know,
I
we know,
will,
bro.
I will
We've
probably go
reached-
into next year putting Man United in the top 3 again. I
year in a row.
can't control my hope.
Amorim, my grading as a Manchester United hater, I'm gonna say C flat, not C plus, not C minus.
I'll give it a C
That's
plus.
understandable.
I'll give it a C plus.
Because I do see like versus Arsenal, bro, Ten Hag would not have looked like there was a shape.
We would have allowed 2-3 goals.
You guys
against
looked
a team with
not
Moreno
not
up
with
top.
Marino up top. You guys look like you have a shape now. Like you guys are playing a sort of
We
football.
look like a team.
It's not just Ten Hag, 11 guys out there. Let's win the game.
It doesn't help that Eriksen and Casemiro are still
And
starting.
he's saying the right things in the press conference too. He's saying
He
he's
said
saying
some wrong things.
What has he said wrong?
Like you're watching him sometimes, and you think like he shits in the team. Like he just blatantly. It's not Portugal. This is Manchester United.
Like I get that he's like waiting for the summer to revolutionize the squad. Like he's planning for the next year. But at the end, these are still your players. These are still the players that will be putting on a Manchester
Okay.
United shirt at the on the weekend. And you're publicly going out and saying, yeah, you're not at that level.
This is
quality
the
is not
elite
good.
level of the sport, okay? Like this is the elite of the elite. All 20 managers who are managing the Premier League are the creme de la creme, okay, of managers, except maybe Ruud van Nistelrooy. All 19 other ones, if you go into a chess match, okay, you're 2 chess grandmasters. Magnus Carlsen is the best chess player in the world. If you give him chess pieces that aren't able to fully do what other chess masters' chess pieces are able to do, Magnus Carlsen's going to lose most of the time. Even though he's the best chess player, you can only play with the pieces that you have given to you.
But what if the player that sat in his seat prior to Magnus Carlsen playing with those shitty pieces?
Also got sacked because he was doing a shit
but
job.
what if that guy was doing
What
better?
if the guy before him also got sacked because he was doing a shit job? And the guy before him also got... Obviously, at some point, it's not the fucking grandmaster sitting in the seat. It's the people putting the pieces on the table.
You tell him, bro.
You tell
I
Magnus.
guess so, bro.
Magnus Carlsen, shout out.
You listen to Joe Rogan podcast.
Yes, but even just... He's a GOAT.
Here's a go.
I don't know.
This guy will walk in, destroy the next Messi of chess, and then just go about his day,
Yeah,
go
it's
to the
crazy.
beach.
It's a vibe. But I mean, as long as you back your manager, bro.
That was a.
Yeah,
we're still on.
yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
we must be 30 minutes in minimum,
It's crazy.
and we're still on the United Arsenal.
Yeah,
talk.
but let's head over to the next Manchester team because City ends up losing to Forest 1-0, and this was a monster blow to Man City's top 3 push. But
Top 3 push, brother. Worry about top 4.
top
fuck
4,
3.
yeah, because Forest 1-0, terrible result for Pep and Co.
Listen, if they don't make top 4, do major changes come, or you just keep
I
trusting
think
Pep
even
Guardiola?
if they somehow squeak into 4th, the thing is that Premier League's getting an extra CL spot, so 5th even makes CL. So that we have to also keep that into consideration. So chances are they will make CL, but if this is Manchester City we're talking about. They have competent owners. It's not Manchester United. Them finishing 5th, they're gonna spend 200-300 mil this summer.
Okay, so you're saying that it's not a replacement thing; it's just keep spending.
They need to spend. Their
Yeah,
team
throw money
is
at the
garbage
problem.
right now.
I'm
Their
looking
team,
at-
no, bro, the team is garbage right now.
I'm
But
looking at
every
Pep
year they Guardiola.
spend.
No, they don't. That's a lie.
They also don't they have a lot of players under contract that are running out?
Well,
Gundogan,
KDB, I don't know. if
KDB.
has-
KDB's gone.
Yeah, but KDB, honestly, nowadays,
He's kind of the fall off. Of
KDB is
Yeah, but
definitely gone.
I saw a chart recently of players like expected assists per 90 compared to their teammates. And first was Bruno, second was KDB. So he's still doing it when he's playing.
Doesn't KDB still have more GA than Vinicius in 2025? I don't know. I saw that.
Possible, I don't know.
Oh my God, what?
That's the stat that was floating around,
That'd be
especially in our
crazy work.
Discord. If you guys are in Discord, there was someone in Discord saying, "Don't let the Real Madrid fan find out about this stat."
Holy.
In
But-
2025.
But KDB obviously still a good player, but it's more the players like you can't go into next year. Well, you're gonna have Rodri, but Kovacic should be gone, especially now that Nico Gonzalez got signed. Also,
I'm not looking at
You do not
Kovacic
need
as
a-
the problem.
but those are the problems.
No, but
It's the Kovacic.
Kovacic has been the best midfielder out of-
Doku is not at the level required to
Well,
be
yeah,
a
you
Premier
could say
League,
that.
Kovacic
Premier
was,
League winning
bro, how many
player.
times have we said this? He's always supposed to. He should have been a depth player when
Yes.
Rodri was playing. Kovacic was never brought in to
To
start.
be the core, yeah.
Okay, so now that your entire game plan relies on Rodri getting not
doesn't.
injured the entire year, is basically what you're admitting.
Bro, it doesn't. But let's say Bruno Fernandes gets injured. Who replaces him at
But now Nico Gonzalez got signed for 60 million in January to be Rodri's backup slash like play
Rotation.
Where does Kovacic go? So it's a
it
useless
should
player.
be the bench.
So, but it's a useless player then.
Yeah, but he's
The
not a
bench
player
is
that
never
can
gonna
only
play.
one
He's
team,
never gonna
one
play. There's
position.
two
Bro,
options in
there's
front
so
of him.
much football that Manchester City should be playing. Kovacic will play in an FA Cup versus Huddersfield.
Okay, now you send Kovacic to fucking Azkaban. Okay,
The bench.
okay. Gundogan's not good enough for Manchester
He
City.
does-
But
He shouldn't be in the
Gundogan's
starting
on the
11
way
either.
out. He's on the way out.
You just
No,
brought him in.
I think he just signed a.
Well, that's a bad deal.
I think he has
He's
an
on the way
option
out.
for a 1-year extension, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not gonna.
Okay, Jeremy
Should be a bench
Doku,
op- okay,
Jeremy
that's
Doku or Grealish.
Even-
one of those brothers got to go.
Even Doku is on his way out, to be honest.
No,
With
I
the
don't
links,
know.
the links to Spanish teams, like
I did not see a single.
I
link to
have,
Spanish team.
but apparently, if Varver doesn't see it, it never happens. But so go on.
Did you see a link to a Spanish
Bro,
team?
I would not imagine
I've seen
Doku-
Barcelona links, but
Barcelona-
Doku is a player to leave for 50 mil. Not to Barcelona, but to
Who's
somewhere
spending
else.
50 mil on Doku.
Someone who wants
City
Doku.
will not sell Doku for 50 mil. That's
Why?
impossible.
Okay, this is not even meant to be a rage bait. The only place I kind of see is like a Juve. 50 mil on Doku. What,
I
it's
wouldn't
not-
mind. I wouldn't mind Doku.
It's not a rage bait.
It's okay, what are you trying
What?
to say?
What?
then?
No other team really makes sense. Maybe like a Newcastle.
So what? You keep Doku forever? That's the plan.
It's just for what they would actually sell him for. I don't think anyone will buy him.
Then you have two mediocre options on the left wing.
Grealish,
you have
you have to
Grealish,
sell.
who's absolutely useless.
Grealish has to
you
get
have
sold.
Doku, who's not doing anything really.
Not as effective.
It's a
But
very big problem
These
in
are
squad
big
building.
investments, bro. Like they can't justify selling like guys like Grealish for 30 mil.
Yes.
Honestly, I think they can. I think they have
definitely
so much
can.
money. Just like it's not like if they sell Grealish and it's like they're
we
gonna
also
feel
have
that
to wait,
$80 million
huh? 'Cause
loss.
this conversation might switch. Couple weeks. I think the ruling on the
make a difference.
on the charges is coming in a couple
it? I
1
thought
to
it
2
was-
months.
I
I
thought
said
it was
March.
May.
It's
March?
every week it's coming.
No. I think there's a date set. I think it's like a specific date that's
No, it's 'cause
set.
I think it went to try. Like something
Yeah.
made it longer.
They extended it or something. I don't know, but I wouldn't keep your hopes up for that. I really
I don't think they're gonna get relegated. Well,
I don't think they're gonna
you
get
know,
relegated.
by rule, the Premier League can't actually relegate them. By
Why?
rule,
So they just do a monster
Because-
point deduction so
because-
that they stay last.
because it's not the EFL that's charging them; it's the Premier League. So you theoretically can't kick them out of the league.
But you can deduct Premier League points.
You can deduct 100 points, let's
Yes.
say, and just force them to get relegated.
It's like an
all it's
Everton
gonna be.
situation.
But they can't like pull a Juve where it's just you get relegated.
Why?
then
What's
the-
the difference
well,
between
we- well-
EFL and the Premier League?
EFL
the
is
English
the
football.
governing body of
Yeah.
English
Like,
football.
they
Like the
can't, they can't
FIGC.
just they can't just like this. They can't just choose. Like they're the one. Like EFL can't just say okay, Manchester City is relegated.
Yeah, but the EFL is not the one who charged Man City. It's the Premier League.
Premier League, I guess.
I'm sure there's like if they deserve to get relegated, they'll find a way to make. them
Yes,
relegated.
yes.
Point deduction.
It
or
would be
something.
Premier League deducting them 100 points, but then at the end of the season, you're going to see Man City finish 20th. You're not going to see Man
I'm just
City finish
interested.
fourth.
I'm interested to see if they get guilty on charges. I think that Man City like is a very high chance they come out of this with like just a massive fine. And if that happens, it'll just show the blatant corruption. Because
I agree.
if the higher the number, if the fine is low, then it's like okay, you broke like a minor rule, whatever. Like it's a loophole you found, but we're still gonna fine you. But if we're looking at like a $20 million, maybe even more, $50 million fine, the Premier League is basically admitting they paid us out.
The issue is that it's so blatantly obvious too, the cheating. Like it's just so right
Like-
in your face.
Like keyboard warriors were able to
Yes.
to deduce what
So,
was happening and stuff.
Like if they
But are
don't
those
get a
loopholes?
massive,
Are those-
they're not loopholes. It's not loopholes. Man City, the owners of Man City would say, Etihad, can you please sponsor the kit? We're looking for 8 million. They'll answer, we'll give you 3. So then the country would say, okay, pay us 3, we'll cover 5, so then it's 8. So on the sheet it says 8,
Eight
but
for
5
Etihad.
of it's covered by the owner.
Okay, now maybe that's a loophole.
It's not a loophole. That's
I don't
cheating.
know the laws. You don't know the laws.
The Premier League says it's cheating.
But that's what they're trying to figure out in court.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid, but whatever.
But anyways, their chances of making top four definitely dented by this, and Nottingham Forest staying in that third position.
That's just crazier.
This is a
That's the biggest surprise.
monster
Not
surprise.
even City losing.
But
I
you
find
go-
Forest being in Champions League is one of the biggest surprises this
If you
season.
go through City's Forest starting 11, they have a lot of quality players.
Pretty good.
Yep.
And go back, even players like that right now are not getting the spotlight as the best wingers in the Premier League.
I
But
like
like
that.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, that brother was when he was coming out of Chelsea Academy.
Oh, I remember those Cho
Yeah.
tweets.
Yeah.
Bellini,
Those Cho
bro,
texts we'd be
I'm
getting.
pretty sure Bayern tried buying this brother for 60 mil, 70 mil when he was 18.
Sounds like misinformation.
No, it's
70 mil.
That's
for
fact.
Cho.
I'll find the exact number.
It's just
Must
one
be
of,
like 50, bro,
it's
max.
Just, it's just one of those examples of like an extremely well balanced team.
Yes.
That do very well
That's what I think it
consistently
is.
It's
over
good
time.
pieces put
Yeah,
together.
Like Hudson-Odoi and Anthony Elanga shouldn't be a.
Like, they're not
shouldn't be leading,
superstars.
You know,
They're not.
You know, Chris
But-
Wood.
yes.
A front
Yeah,
three of
like-
Elanga, Chris Wood, and Hudson-Odoi.
70 million pounds. Chelsea rejected.
By
Bayern-
source,
Bayern
The
said,
Guardian.
"Thank God."
The Guardian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Is
trust
that
the
even
Guardian
good?
now.
No.
Yes.
That's like the Sun.
Jacob
Because that's another
Steinberg.
sport.
Jacob Steinberg's a reliable Chelsea.
He's my guy,
reporter.
bro. He's my guy.
Yeah.
Freaking Steinberg, bro.
But this is public information that Bayern bid 70 million on deadline day for him.
Anyway,
They got
context.
rejected.
But Nottingham Forest, the squad building was like right now you're seeing the fruits of that labor from 2-3 years
Manager
ago.
too, respect.
Yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo
Yeah.
doing wonders.
Well,
But
the remontada of his
Yeah.
of his career. Somebody got to make a YouTube video about that. I would click on
Sky
that.
Sports, yeah. But honestly, Nottingham Forest in the Champions League, listen, that's football heritage right there.
But it's gonna. I think it's like a Newcastle situation, where they
Yes.
they have that good season. They jump to the Champions League. It's too much football. They're not used to it, and then they end up doing
But
bad in the Premier
thing
League.
about Nottingham Forest is that from 2-3 years ago, the squad investment was so heavy that you have players like Sangare, who was playing at CL level football with PSV, being like one of their best players on the bench. So that when you do move up to CL, you have obviously players on the bench that can play that CL level.
But even their way of playing is very. It doesn't tire you out as much as a man-to-man system. Like you could play that consistently 3 times a week, 2 times a week, let's say. Like you're just sitting
no,
in a
but there
block
will be
in
an
the end.
adjustment. Like I don't think
For sure.
next
For Nottingham
year,
Forest.
next year, I don't think Forest will make top 6.
I agree.
I need to see their summer, obviously. Who they
Yeah, it
bring in
really
and stuff,
depends.
But right now, if they went into the next season with the same squad, I don't think top 6.
Of course.
I agree. Anyway,
Serie A talk.
that's the Premier League. Now we're moving on. I'm not introducing this one.
Well,
I'm just not.
I will then.
It's Varva's licking his lips with this. one.
So, Juventus got absolutely demolished by Atalanta 4-0 a week after being in a title race. So, can we confirm that the title race is done now?
I never started a race.
That's misinformation.
No.
That's
I,
misinformation.
never,
heard
I
it
joked
here.
about it.
I don't think that was a joke.
If you guys can
I don't think that was
differentiate a joke,
I don't think that was a
if
joke,
you guys
bro.
can differentiate a
Bro,
joke,
I don't think that was a
if you
joke.
guys can differentiate a joke that I said Man United is going to finish in the top 3 this year,
that wasn't a
I don't
joke.
think that was a joke, bro.
bro.
I,
If
like,
you
What did
guys
I ever
no, but
say?
like you
Because you
see,
said
you
don't
can't
count 'em out. You said
you
don't
guys
count 'em out.
can't
That's a joke,
You
bro.
That
can't
was not a
differentiate a joke, bro. You see, that's the issue.
that was not a joke, bro.
I
That's
said there was
crazy.
a possibility. Being
Yeah.
in a title race and there's a possibility of winning the league is different. Very,
Oh,
very
boy.
So
different.
where's the possibility now?
0.
It's 3 points less than it was at the beginning of the week.
I don't know. This one was a rough game to watch if you're a Juve fan. If you any Juve fans listen to the pod, and my condolences, bro. This was one of your worst losses of all time.
Okay, no, it wasn't our.
Yeah, it was.
At
this,
home,
This
yes.
was one of your worst
Millie was
losses.
telling me it was your worst loss
Since
4-0.
1967.
No, since you
Okay, I
lost,
wouldn't go
you
that
lost
back.
5-1.
At home, 4-0. They've
Yeah,
never
they've
lost.
never lost at home in this stadium 4-0.
Bro, I don't
Without a
give a
shot on
fuck about
target?
your stats, bro.
not
Without
even
a shot
sure.
on
Yeah.
target
Losing to
too.
PSV was way worse than losing 4-0
Okay.
to Atalanta.
But as an individual
Yes.
game, it's not.
Bro, I don't care about the stats. 1940s at
Losing
the
to
stadium,
PSV
whatever.
was worse because it was a knockout game in the Champions League.
Context.
But
Yeah, but
if
this is
you're
like a Serie A
as an
game.
individual game, this performance was way worse than that PSV performance.
I don't think so.
More
I think
mistakes.
Bro, you guys
Fair.
didn't have a shot on target at home.
Bro, we played versus Atalanta. We didn't play versus
Yeah.
PSV.
Atalanta's not some fucking super team.
Atalanta got
Atalanta
destroyed
is
by
a very.
Club Brugge.
Atalanta,
Yeah.
Atalanta's a very good team.
They're a good team.
They are a good team.
Bro,
They're
they
very-
have the
Yeah, but-
possibility that if you have a bad day, they're gonna capitalize and score
Yes.
4 goals.
And they've done it before.
Not
They're-
PSV that's just gonna slip through and win the tie.
I think they have more goal. They have a better goal differential than Inter this season, right? They have the best
Atalanta?
goal differential in Serie A. If I'm
Yeah,
not
because
mistaken.
some games they just score 3-4 goals.
They score 6 sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but usually that's against a Hellas Verona.
yeah, that's the problem.
Juve.
The Juve just was not their day. Like Motta, like I really don't understand what was happening. That midfield was just an absolute disaster.
For me, I think if you're watching it as a Juventus fan, the defense, bro, not having
let you down.
not having Bremer, Cabal injured, guys like Savona injured, where you end up having to play a guy like Lloyd Kelly at center back. Lloyd Kelly was not brought in to be a starting center back. He was brought in to be a fullback that sat on the bench and got rotated in, and now he somehow made his way into starting at center back.
But then the
that's
issue with you
self-inflicted.
bringing that, okay, you brought in Lloyd Kelly, but then Alberto Costa literally does what you just said. So why bring
Alberto
in
Costa's
both?
a fullback.
Yeah, exactly. That can fill in at center back sometimes.
It was just you choose Lloyd Kelly or
But
Alberto
then you also
Costa.
have Kalulu who can play at who
Kalulu
played
was injured,
a
bro.
fullback.
We had a shit ton of
Kalulu played.
defensive-
Kalulu played.
That was his first time back since injury,
So you had 3 fullbacks.
and he got subbed in. Or
Yeah.
did he start or he get subbed in?
He subbed in.
He subbed in.
No, Gatti and
Subbed out for subbed
was
in
Gatti
for
and Kelly.
Yeah, it was
Gatti had a
Gatti and
terrible
Kelly.
game. Oh my god.
But bro, like that's why I'm not like absolutely devastated. The odds of us going into this game of winning if we would have beat Atalanta, it would have been a comfortable like okay, we should make top 4. The Scudetto race of us being in it was always from day one reliant on the top guys dropping points. Like you can only win the games in front of you.
Are you Motta out if you finished outside of top 4?
No,
What?
no.
Oh.
Bro,
Bro,
what?
I believe
I agree with
I'm
him.
not. I'm not Milan. That I would
I'm
be
not
more.
Milan,
I
bro.
would
Knocked
be-
out of Champions League, knocked out of
I don't
Coppa Italia,
think-
knocked
no,
out of
listen,
Super Cup,
listen,
and not
I
even
will
top
defend
4.
Can I say
him.
my point?
I'm sorry, bro.
Go,
What?
go, sorry.
Okay, I'm not Milan that you get a Fonseca
Let's see this
and
rage
then
bait.
there's no project to begin with because it's always been the management's
So-
project and not the manager
Let him
project.
speak. Let him speak.
No,
I never get to speak.
You guys,
You
will
will
speak
go ahead,
right
go
after.
ahead, yeah.
Are we talking about AC Milan? You guys have management purchases, not manager purchases. We invested in a Motta project and we brought in players that Motta wanted. The stupidest thing that the club can do is sack Motta after 1 season and just completely erase the idea that his second season could be good. Bro, Allegri in his first season was not in his first season as his second tenure was not that good. Then his other seasons
But
got
did he
better.
get backed? I don't remember. him
Allegri
getting
got backed. Allegri got backed. Seriously backed.
With what
but
purchases?
Juventus was in a worse financial. Vlahovic. There's more. There's all kinds. We were in a worse financial state when Allegri. It was his second and third year. Bro, getting rid of Motta. The thing is you have to be a Juventus fan to understand what I'm saying because you have to have watched how shit Allegri was. Watching, like
Yes,
just
but
watching.
Just because Allegri was down here and you're here doesn't.
Yeah.
It's good football.
But
it's very good football.
My issue with Juventus is not Thiago Motta. My issue is Giuntoli, because I think this summer, looking back now, is a disaster. Personally, from my POV, it's a disaster summer for Juve.
You're just gonna say the same fucking shit as always. Hoyson, bro, you guys sold Hoyson. You sold
Okay,
Baranake.
bro.
He's good at
Also-
Valencia.
Yeah, if
like,
you guys
also-
bought pillar players that right now look, oh my god, they're bought.
How do
the
you
only
know what a
player
fucking
that you
pillar
guys
player
bought,
is?
the only player that you guys bought this summer that looks like he could be a starter when you guys actually become Scudetto contenders
It's
again,
Thuram.
is Thuram.
Also, bro, don't forget Giuntoli.
Di Gregorio, yeah,
Giuntoli came to Napoli and in 1 year made them a title contender. and they
Osimhen
won.
and Cavara.
He was the guy bringing in
Yeah.
Cavara and Osimhen.
Kim.
So to be honest, I'm blaming Motta more than Giuntoli. Giuntoli had his fair share of just disaster classes, but I'm not seeing anything inspiring here. Like knocked out in every competition.
also
You're
at
not
Napoli-
Bro, it's a
And Napoli-
project,
and
bro. Why can
Napoli-
you can only see 2 feet in front of
because
you?
for me, yes, right now, yes, because
That's
you need
why
a
you have
short
2
firm-
different managers in the
but
same
you
season.
need, and they both failed, and
That's the fucking problem.
look at that, we're in the
No,
same
I don't think
location.
I don't think you sacked Thiago Motta today to say
no,
save
not
your
today.
top 4.
You're not doing that
Bro,
today.
if we did the Milan approach and sack Motta mid-season and go get some other fucking bum from I don't even know where, we're gonna be in the same spot as Milan.
Well, I think either way, if you don't make Champions League, then what's the alternative? Because if you fire
sack
Motta-
the manager,
yeah,
bro.
I know. You sack the
if
manager.
you what am I hearing here? I'm sorry. Like, am I that biased?
I would honestly,
think
after a
so.
performance like this, I've seen coaches getting sacked after games like this.
No,
this
you
is
don't,
like
okay, wait.
That's how you ruin your.
You're
That's how you
saying-
ruin
are
the
you
project.
are you saying sack him right now? Because that's stupid. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying sack him right now, but he's had a lot of performances where it's showing like it's a little rocky. I don't know if I'd give him a second season. It's a conversation that Juve will need to
Bro,
have.
his team is not good.
But he
So
did have
You
a
guys are
summer.
all just saying wrong
He did have a
things.
summer.
All of you.
I don't think
team
so.
is not
No.
Just
good.
different wrong
I'm
things.
flabbergasted, bro.
If Juventus doesn't make the Champions League, no manager is going to want to touch something where Juve is going to be in complete turmoil for a summer where there's going to be a Europa League competition. Maybe.
Millie, I have a question.
Yeah.
As an Inter fan,
Yeah.
playing Juventus,
Yes.
in the last 3 seasons, which season is the scariest playing Juventus? Or the one that you think that Juventus had the best chance?
3
of winning?
seasons ago.
No, in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Not the third season ago was we were losing to you. Bro, we were losing to you under Allegri. Remember
Yeah,
the game that we
closer
went to go
games.
watch? We went to go watch here. You
Yeah.
would watch and you would say Juventus have 0 chance of beating Inter.
Like,
Okay, forget 3. As long as you've been good.
That's like Milan has the
when
best
Ronaldo
chance of
was
beating
there.
Inter. When are you scariest of Inter of Milan?
shit, I guess right now. fine.
Yeah, and they're the worst
But-
fucking
Exactly.
Milan
But,
you've
I
ever
would say- I would
watched
say,
in your
like,
life. That
when
doesn't mean
Juve-
anything.
When Juve had Ronaldo, it was like around that time where it was really competitive.
Allegri was shit football. This is good football. I can see it's the same. It's like,
understand.
It's like what you argue with Amorim. Like I'm watching it and I can see positive play.
I said
But
I
the
wouldn't sack
standards are in
Motta.
hell then. You're Juventus. You're supposed to be contending.
You
They're
have to
not
build.
there yet. They're
You
not
have to
there
build a
anymore.
dynasty
Bro,
in one
once
fucking
again,
season. You cannot
look
build a
at the
dynasty.
team.
in
But
one
you
Their
year.
spent
team-
you
their
spent
team
you
is-
sold 150
One at a
million
time.
worth of players, and you bought how many would you say this summer
Of money or players?
that you bought?
Players or money?
150 mil.
Okay.
Worth of
money.
players?
Okay, so we went even.
Okay, so basically you sold your best prospects and you brought in players
Okay, your best prospects.
for this
Bro,
Thiago
what the fuck are you
Motta
talking about?
project.
Best
For
prospects.
this
The
Thiago
best
Motta
prospect.
project,
Dean Huyson.
Dean Huyson,
Dean
Sule is
Huyson.
balling out.
Okay, he's worth less than when we bought. We sold him.
Just
for.
to replace him with like Nico Gonzalez and whatever. But
Yeah.
what
Daniel Levy.
what Thiago Motta
You're
got backed,
defending my point of Giuntoli shitting the bed.
but Thiago Motta got backed. Thiago Motta. These are players that Thiago Motta wanted. He wanted
one season.
Kuppenheimer, shit, flop. He wanted who else did he buy?
Douglas Luiz.
All these defenders that
Douglas Luiz
completely.
injured. Everyone else injured, bro.
I can't
Every
believe
fucking
it.
player we had got injured.
Luis is injured for like 2 weeks now at this point, or 3 weeks.
Okay, you have you have no idea what you're talking about. You're
How
you're
long is Douglas
officially
Luiz? I don't know,
ineligible
I don't
to
know.
talk about this season because bro, Douglas Luiz has not been available and healthy for the whole fucking
But
season.
he hasn't been that great.
So-
even when he
Bro,
played.
he's barely played. He's barely played. Look at me minutes.
don't-
If he's played over 600 minutes,
But it's
I'll give
because
you
he's on
a-
the
a
bench.
tro-
That's
a
why he's
trophy.
not playing.
But I think
This guy got injured February 24th. That was literally 2-3 weeks ago.
Bro,
My,
think-
my
believe me, he got
point
injured.
my point is that Thiago Motta got his backing. If he's out of Champions League as well, he's got knocked out of every competition.
But
what
honest-
credit can you give him?
honestly,
credit.
the thing is
Exactly.
That
So you sack him.
But even
That's
Allegri,
a fucking horrible way of thinking about football clubs. That's how you
It's
end up
really
with
not.
5 different managers
It's
in
really
fucking
not.
3 years.
It's not
But
because I want a change because
Bro, Milan is
we
gonna
have
be
not been
shit forever
successful.
if you have that mentality. You're gonna be shit forever. You're just
I
gonna
can't
keep
believe
getting
you
new
guys don't agree.
managers.
You guys are fucking Juventus Glazers. It's
I'm not
ridiculous.
Juventus
Bro, they're
Glazers.
You
haters.
guys are such
They're the biggest haters.
like insane
One
glazing.
thing- one thing at a time, gentlemen.
Insane
The
glazing.
biggest.
You're
I'm
making me
sitting with
crash
the
out.
biggest haters of Juventus.
apologies to the
Insane
audio
glazing.
listeners there.
Bro,
But I honestly, Motta, it would be very tough for me to justify a second season just based off of like fan like.
We're
what-
talking about he doesn't
bas-
make Champions League.
if he
doesn't make Champions
League. But then the problem is that you lose a lot of appeal as a manager if you're not in Champions
Okay,
League.
so firms.
So you won't bring in a top
If
choice.
he makes Champions League, listen, I could agree with you guys.
Okay,
keep
so
Thiago
listen,
Motta.
listen,
Allegri didn't make
listen,
Champions League.
listen.
Allegri was out.
Let's say Lazio finishes on 69 points, okay? And they're, let's just say 69 points or let's say 72 points, okay?
Is that top
So
four?
yes, well,
Well, in theory,
hypothetical,
let's
they
say-
finished
let's
on 72 points. If Juve gets 73 points, you keep Motta, but if they get 71 points, you sack Motta.
It's a big difference, yeah. Because one, you made Champions League for the next year, and
Yeah.
one, you have no project going on. Because your revenues will be lower, so you're not spending as much, you're not backing him at all. You're gonna have to sell because we're Italian clubs and we cannot sustain.
Yeah, but the manager,
we
the
can.
next
we
manager.
can.
No,
We're
you're in
not
the same
Milan.
situation.
Bro,
But
60
The issue
million.
is
You
that
guys
if
are
miss-
not in a
if
better
you miss
financial
top
state.
if you miss top four, the next manager's still not going to be able to spend. So who cares? That's a sunken cost.
Thiago, okay, when someone like Inter goes out to get Inzaghi, that's a proven manager. He's won something.
That was
Thiago Motta
that
is
was
just
a
a-
Serie A winning side, by the way. But go on.
What are you talking about?
They had just won Serie A.
They
winning
inherited
Inzaghi.
Okay, so bad
Yeah,
example.
but then sold two of our best players.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
but then you still had Lautaro, you still had Bastoni, you
And we
still
were
had
in
Barella.
Champions
They do
League,
not have a
and we-
Bastoni, they don't have a Barella, they don't have a Lautaro.
And
so
we were
keep
in
going.
Champions League.
after spending.
But we just won the league and won Champions League. Like there was we had a project, and we brought in a coach that was playing a 3-5-2, same as Conte. So like
The team right now, Thiago
Yeah.
Motta doesn't have a good team.
But
That's-
it's
that's
not like
It's
It's
wrong.
not wrong,
It's
bro.
Wrong. He has
it's not a top team.
He should be performing better than he is with the team he has. His team is good enough to beat everybody in the league except for Inter and I'd say Atalanta.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Atalanta, bro. Did we just saw Atalanta? They have fucking
Bro, I'm not like you guys that I look
Exact
at. I see one Club Brugge fucking game and I'm like, oh, there goes the whole fucking season.
No.
I use context.
I think Atalanta is a very strong team.
Atalanta is a strong team. They're a difficult team to play against in Serie A unless you're Inter.
I think-
Napoli starting 11 is better than yours.
It's just not after the Kvaratskhelia left. It's
See, why don't you go for Conte? Like, why did you
You
go
would
for
never
Thiago
go
Motta,
back.
who's not
Bro,
proven?
You wouldn't
It's-
come back.
Does
Why not?
AC Milan think the same way as you?
I would have. I'm not saying I would have taken Conte back in the day, but seeing where Napoli is at, we should have upgraded way more than we did.
Okay, bro.
So
Yeah.
just because Conte is
Go
just
get
a little
Allegri.
bit better than Pioli doesn't mean that we're
He's
back.
not. He's completely different. Bro, it's a different type of
Thiago Motta
manager.
is just a little bit better than Allegri. You're not back. You're still
He's
in
not a
downfall
little
right
bit-
now.
He's a completely different manager.
If it's
Completely different.
If Juve's going into it, like if they hired him and said, okay, we understand the risks of bringing in a younger manager with not as much experience. If we take the hit this season, we're still gonna back him. Then you back him. You don't deviate.
They
from
will.
that,
Giuntoli
in my
has,
opinion.
Giuntoli has always backed Motta. Always backed and to this point, up until right now, there has never been a question in management.
Yeah.
It's Thiago Motta next season. That's the contract.
But then let's say the management comes in and said, okay, well, Thiago Motta, you need to make top 4. We backed you. You need to at least compete, go make it to a round of 16 Champions League, whatever, and win either a Coppa Italia or Super Coppa. And he did none of those. Management has every right to question whether or not he should be there.
And that's
Question
what I'm
him,
saying.
And you replace him with what? You do what? You go get
Yeah.
Allegri. You go get Conte. You go
you
get
move
guys.
backwards.
You go move backwards. You move backwards. Like
Yeah.
in my opinion, Milan should
What
not
if
be
you
going to
got
get Allegri
De Zerbi?
this summer.
Yeah.
That's okay, but that's if a market opportunity presents itself. You start thinking about it. I don't want an old
I
fucking
think
Italian
Thiago Motta is
manager.
better than De Zerbi.
I do too. But you think about it.
Disagree.
Thiago Motta better than De Zerbi.
There's more potential in Thiago Motta than
You realize
De Zerbi.
you realize De Zerbi has like 5 or 6 years of Serie A experience with Sassuolo that are in Serie B
Okay.
right now, and he was making like Europa Leagues with them. And
Thiago
then
Motta
ends
made
up going to
Champions League with
Brighton.
Bologna.
Then ends up going to Brighton, who actually brought them to literal relevancy. And then
He brought them to literal relevancy when Graham Potter was in 4th place with
Okay, but you
Brighton.
can't deny that De Zerbi is a very good coach, Varvar.
De Zerbi's
One of the best Italian
I-
coaches
I-
at the moment.
He's a good coach. He's a pretty
I
good coach.
personally think he's overrated. Personally,
bro, Thiago Motta coming off
He's
of
doing
one
well with
season at
them.
Bologna is
I rather
is the
Thiago
definition of
Motta.
that.
I am more scared of playing Juve now than I was last season.
I agree.
I
agree.
am. Personally, if I was playing them, I would be more scared. But
I would hope so because ideally with the
my
investments,
issue
change your
is that they
coach, you
spent
are
a lot of
upgrading.
money last summer, and it was not a good summer for me personally. I don't think it was a good summer.
Bro, injuries just made they tainted the season. They just like a guy like Bremer.
But that doesn't matter because every single other manager who's had injury issues, you can't. A lot of
we do.
clubs have injury.
But we do.
Man United did too.
And you used it.
I did. But looking
every
back,
week
it's a
on the
stupid
podcast.
fucking excuse.
You can't say that now that you're not in that state of saying that.
I
Bro,
can.
Injuries
still have
matter.
injuries issues, by the way, but
context
sure.
and injuries matter. Like you can't like theoreticize losing 3 of your 4 starting defenders. Like you can't. That's not a. You
I
shouldn't
did.
plan for that.
I lost 6 of my 7.
Exactly, and and that's the reason you were defending it. That
But
you
it
had
was
injuries.
still shit even with my players.
Yeah. Well, listen, with Juve where they are right now, do you see where do you see them ending the season right now?
Bro, listen. If we
I still think they finished
if
4th.
we beat all the other like lower table teams
Yeah.
that we have to play, I think we have one more big game.
But
we
you
have
can't
Roma.
say if because
Yeah, I think you have
we
Roma.
have Roma in 2 weeks. If we play all the other teams are beatable, so we should get enough points out of all of them, and then we just stay in our 4th spot and then we make Champions League. And I think Serie A is it possible we get
No.
the fifth spot?
It's
I don't
you
think
have
so.
There's 2 fifth spots.
La
Yeah, but it's
Liga have
probably-
like
might be
5
La
teams
Liga.
left in Europe, and they're already ahead of you. You guys have 2 teams left in Europe. I
I know,
think,
but
and
Atletico
No, 3.
Real is getting knocked out, so that's
Roma,
one.
Lazio,
that's one
Fiorentina.
guaranteed moving on. Also,
Inter.
Barcelona's
Inter.
moving on.
4.
That's not.
Real Betis is looking to be likely good in Conference League.
Yeah, but
I'm
so-
telling you, it's done.
So it's
it's
Lazio,
it's
Roma.
La Liga and England that are getting the extra CL spot.
That's horrible because La Liga is
Exactly.
gonna provide us with.
I think if Juve and Milan,
No, Valencia's in relegation.
if Juve, Milan, Atalanta went through to the next round, probably would have gotten it. But
Regardless, I think we still make. I think we make top 4, but I
You're
like
gonna have
bro,
to fight for that top 4 now.
like as a fan, like I just want to watch better football, and this season has been better football to watch. And I want Vlahovic out of the club,
Oh
like
man,
for free.
like listen,
Put him on a bus and just
Yeah.
send him out.
if you guys did watch that Atalanta or Juve game, that was one of the biggest blunders I think I've ever seen.
But not just that, bro.
Uncontested
It's the whole
blunder.
fucking season. Forget his one slip up. Like that just sums up an entire season. of
Yeah.
shit. Like,
I get what you mean.
bro, Kolumwani in for 5 games, I saw like the light, and the Kolumwani isn't even like he wasn't even like an Osimhen in 2022. You know, like. I don't know. I still have patience and hope for the club, but like shit like this, like obviously doesn't make me happy.
It leaves it dead.
But I won't let it ruin my day because if Allegri was the manager right now,
You would've-
there's no hope. There's no.
If Allegri was the manager, you wouldn't be here for the podcast.
No.
We just called it a day.
No,
We
12
called it a
gauge.
day. But listen, still in Serie A, like we'll quick shout out to Roma because 1-0 versus Empoli, brother. I checked their recent form, and I have watched some of their games, but their recent form, brothers, they haven't lost a game since like November.
Yeah, it's more about
Bro.
their recent form. Ranieri
Yeah.
really found like a team that could consistently come in and fight for a win, which back in like they were almost near relegation, which was crazy.
Back in
And-
October.
Yeah, back in
Yeah, yeah.
October.
Well, they bounced through technically 3 manager tenures, no?
De Rossi.
De Rossi,
Did also Juric?
Juric, then
Juric,
back to De Rossi, no? They did-
No,
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 I
then
think he came back.
Ranieri.
Then Ranieri. But
And they're
Ranieri-
doing good in
Ranieri was
Europe.
in relegation prem, by the way.
Yeah, but you know what?
With who?
Leicester his last season
Oh yeah.
won the Premier League.
Won the Premier League, but
was when he left. They were 19th.
Bro, same-
relegation
same-
fodder.
Saying relegated that one-year league is fucking
Relegation
crazy,
fodder.
bro.
Lost Kante. What's his name?
Mahrez.
Mahrez.
But listen, Ranieri did exactly what was asked of him. Literally just keeping everything calm, stabilizing the ship. So, listen, he's
For a
doing.
Roma level team, you need an Allegri, Ranieri, Conte type manager.
Well, Ranieri is also a good coach in terms of world football.
Okay, but if I'm creating a project,
And also, don't compare Conte to these two managers.
bro,
probably the same
Ranieri won your league, bro.
Conte, every
On
single
the biggest
Conte,
underdog
whatever
story
team he
in your
joins,
league's history.
bro, Conte,
In your league's
whatever team he
history.
joins, instantly goes into title contenders.
The
other two
How many
managers
Premier
is not
Leagues
the
does Conte
same.
have?
One.
And how many does Ranieri have?
One.
Okay, and
How
one
many
was,
Serie A's does
and
Ranieri
one,
have?
and one was managing Leicester.
How many Serie A's does
he have any?
Ranieri have?
Yeah, well, when
I
was
don't know if
Conte
he
in
has.
Premier League?
With Roma?
What year was
No, he doesn't. Ding, ding,
Yo,
ding, ding.
actually,
We
do
got
you
the
know this?
winner
Can you
over
check
Do you know
this?
this? Do you know this?
But he coached Roma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that? Ranieri has a.
Did he coach in 2000
that's what I'm thinking.
when they won 1999?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember. But he's still obviously a very well-respected manager in Italy.
Well,
Like
he's
And-
won Scudetto
he has.
as a player.
Oh, as a player.
And one thing that Vavar said I think it was last podcast about having a coach that brings in positive mentality when you're in a downturn. He is literally like the embodiment
Damn,
of
that
that.
hit Firm's hard, huh? Because he
yeah.
remembers that.
Yeah.
No, because I thought about it and I'm like, you know, it makes a lot of sense. You have Conceição who's always like arguing. He's saying there's no hope. We're screwed. We're cooked.
He's very confrontational.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
like when you're at the top, that's good to have.
Never won a
Scudetto.
But what teams he coached? Roma. I think he coached
Well,
Inter
Roma,
for a season.
Cagliari.
Monaco, Fiorentina, Valencia,
Damn.
Leicester,
Did he ever coach Inter?
Cagliari. I'm just looking at his
Oh.
cups. I'm not.
But
I never. You said Inter. This guy coached Inter. He doesn't even know if he coached his own club.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
but you know he must have. Anyways, I think he may have
Fake
done a season.
fan.
He's coached Roma, Cagliari, Watford, Sampdoria, Roma,
Forgot that one.
Fulham, Nantes, Leicester, Greece,
He's been
Monaco, Inter
Told you.
for
2011,
September
2012,
22nd, 2011 to March
2011.
26th.
I even gave you the right year, wanker.
Roma, Juve, Parma, Valencia, Chelsea,
Guy coached
Atletico,
Inter, Roma, Juve doesn't have a Serie A title.
Valencia, Fiorentina, Napoli.
Conversations.
Bro,
Trying to compare this brother to Conte is crazy.
Yeah,
work.
but this guy's not a title.
Ranieri,
No, he's
Ranieri, Ranieri without that
stabilizer.
Leicester title is literally in the abyss of forgotten.
Yeah,
you're
but he's-
acting like it's not the biggest achievement the manager has ever done.
It was-
Sure, but that
he's a
one achievement
caretaker
doesn't
manager.
equal all the Serie A's that Conte's won.
You could debate that. Anyways, what I'm saying is that like a positive outlook for a team that's in a downturn is like revolutionary because you need like that little hope and that positivity while you're going to training, while you're going against teams that you know are better than you.
And he understands Roma. Like he understands
Yeah.
the culture, which is extremely important because I feel like with the Conceição, like you walk into a Milan and the way you act if you act a certain way, it goes against the the values or the feel of the club. Like Ranieri's been there before, and he's always said like there's only 2 teams that could take me out of retirement. It's Cagliari and Roma. So he knows exactly
And
what
he's
Roma
backed.
needs.
He's backed by Roma. You can
Yeah.
feel it. And the
The
players feel that energy behind
the
them.
fans.
And the fans are supporting them. And look at that. They're doing pretty well even against Bilbao right now. So
Yeah, exactly. I think they're 2-1 up.
yeah, I think so.
2-1 up. So they're doing well, but they still have a long way to go in Serie A.
For sure.
They really
They're
have
not
to
there
make up
yet.
a bunch of points. But listen, the way they're playing, it's fantastic. And listen, quick mention for the 2 Milanese teams. We came back from 2-0 down.
We suck.
Okay, quick mention done. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Anyways, Çalhanoğlu goal. Anyways,
Very nice.
not a goal. It's fine. Anyways, Inter stay above. Inter stay first. If anyone cares about that, because Varva doesn't care about that.
Inter's
Napoli
first
end up
right now?
winning.
By 1
Yeah.
point,
Even after Napoli won today.
Yeah,
but they were above.
By 1
They're
point.
always going to be
we,
above.
we were above by 1 point. Anyways,
So
But
what?
don't you play?
play Monza.
Don't you play?
Oh,
you play
we,
Atalanta
we
next?
play Atalanta next week.
Oh,
so
wait.
that's a huge game.
Bro, I was
I'm
looking at
nervous
the
about
table.
you.
I'm like, Atalanta, like,
They could make a push.
title contenders right now.
They are.
Really, if,
The 3-horse
if
race.
we lose to Atalanta next
If
week,
we lose, it's a
I'm going to come back here
okay.
with a bladder full of piss.
Oh fuck. Oh tabarnak.
That's all I'm going to say.
Can come. Varva's gonna come with a half chub, obviously. So
Oh, he's ready. He already has one right now.
goddamn.
Millie texted the group chat right
Uh-oh.
during the
game. I had to know.
Juventus rebuild
Listen.
in the cards, or what did you say? Something.
No,
of the sort.
A lot of
think-
Italian clubs need a rebuild
Yeah.
right now.
What
I'm
I
gonna
say?
copy and paste the same message. Don't worry. If you guys are losing to Atalanta,
Yeah.
I will copy and paste
That's
the same
okay.
message.
It's fine. I would deserve it then if that happened. But so definitely entertainment in Serie A. So excited. It's gonna come down to the wire pretty much.
Yeah.
And yeah. So now Varva, you could take it away with the topic that you introduced us at the beginning.
Well, there was a report this week that leagues were looking into potentially putting games in the United States of America, or just internationally, to be honest. Like how the NFL has games in Munich, London, and stuff like that. They were looking into potentially doing so, putting games in, let's say, Miami or New York or something like that. So this begs the question: should leagues like the Serie A and the Premier League be looking into putting games in the USA?
I see this as the first league that implements this and gets the approval from FIFA will have a major advantage at grabbing this new market in the USA's. Because like a league like Serie A that is actively trying to get American players and trying to grab the Americans' attention, if you put like, let's say a Juventus versus an Inter, it's going to be hard to get the big marquee matchups, but even like a Roma versus a Milan, all the people that are going to that game now have like a little bit of an affinity for these two clubs because they got to watch the match. This would do so much for whatever league ends up doing this.
I like it, but it comes down to the type of game that is playing. Like you said, you need a marquee matchup because if you don't have that, like nobody is really coming to watch. No star player at the field. You need like a big game, like a La Liga, like Atletico Madrid, Barcelona would be nice. Milan, Juventus, Milan, Inter.
That almost happened. Barcelona versus Atletico pretty much got canceled, but it was supposed to happen in Miami this season, and time constraints made it so it wasn't possible. So
Yeah.
something like that would be massive.
But I don't know if Milan Roma sells out.
No, unfortunately, I don't think there's the players that
You put it in New
entice
York.
people to watch that.
You put it in New York, it sells out.
It also, yeah,
huge.
depends
Joyce.
where in the U.S.
But you can sell out a 20,000 person stadium for a Milan Roma game. If it's
20,000, yeah, but is that even worth moving
Yeah.
the San Siro 70,000 seater to there?
okay, well you can but listen, you sell out. They sell out 20,000 seats for a summer Roma Milan game.
Yeah, but 20,000 is different.
I'm talking about what about if it was a
now
Serie A
try and
game?
convince Milan and Roma to move a 70,000 seat stadium to a 20,000 seat stadium for one
No,
match.
but
day.
what I'm saying was, would you drive to New York to go watch Manchester United versus Chelsea if it was in a summer tournament?
Yes, in a summer tournament, no.
No, but if it was a Premier League one, you would.
Yes,
So if I'm saying that they're able to sell out 20,000 for
but
a
Manchester
Roma
United
Milan,
and Chelsea is different.
bro, I'm asking you as a fan.
But Manchester United and Chelsea is different.
No, but I think
Bro, that's not my point.
I don't think that's the point he was trying to make. He was trying to make that like if once there's a stake to it, then a lot more people are going to be much more motivated to go to the game. So a friendly game, obviously, the results
there's
really
no
doesn't matter.
stake,
You're
Yeah.
selling 20,000 for a friendly.
Yeah,
You would sell 50,000 for a Serie A game.
yeah. Well, even just a couple years ago when they had what was it, International Champions Cup or whatever, like they did it in the States and they had a bunch of marquee teams play in the summer. They were selling out MetLife.
I
they
went
were
to
selling,
one in Florida.
Yeah, they were selling out a bunch of games. And listen, they didn't really play marquee players in every single team. It was just the draw of the clubs. But I think you bring in two teams where those 3 points mean something. I think a lot of interest is going to be there. So it really just depends the team and where, in my opinion.
Yeah, that too. I had to say something, but I forgot.
I don't think, personally,
Yeah.
if I think if Milan, let's just take the example of Milan Roma. If Milan Roma played in the US and 50,000 seats, I think the first time it would sell out. But come the second, third, fourth time, I
But you're
think
not putting
as
a season
interest
there.
wanes. No, but every year, if you put Milan Roma, you need to always put 2 of the top 4 or 5 in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Well, La Liga would have to do the same thing with Barcelona,
Yes.
Atletico, and Real. Like they
But
know that
honestly,
they
no.
wouldn't
But
sell.
I think Real in themselves would have enough interest in the US that they would sell out a game.
But
by
that's because
themselves.
of the players that they have. You're going to watch an
Yes.
Mbappe, a Vinicius.
Yes.
Like, unfortunately, if you're looking at a Serie A game, even an Inter Milan, there's just a rivalry. It's just a story.
Yes.
You're not going to watch the
It's
players.
the clubs that are selling tickets, not the players.
Yeah. It's really pro and con. And then in Italy, you're losing a lot of viewers for that game, obviously, because they're not coming to the stadium for a big matchup.
The time zone's going to be screwed up for Italy.
Yeah, that's a big. I
game's
didn't
gonna
think
be
of that.
game's gonna be
No.
very, very late.
Just play it at 3 o'clock here. You put on a weekend.
3 o'clock and ends up
You
being
do a,
what,
a Sunday
7:30?
3 o'clock game, and it's the same time as a regular. Like
No,
today.
like-
And once
as if
again,
they're
if you're in the
game.
US,
no, no.
well,
And then
East Coast, you're chilling.
Well, no, it's the thing is,
if you're doing it during NFL season, Sunday,
Okay, so
well, it's not
Saturday.
NFL season right now.
Bro, you're-
Technically,
Yeah.
the games would be
And
happening
now.
now.
These are not obstacles, in my opinion.
Yeah,
These are,
I don't think
just
it's obstacles.
hoops you have to jump.
And
through.
then say like Inter's in a title charge and they have a game in the US.
so do it at the beginning of the season.
Maybe, yeah, it's a good way to go about it. But
Like, there's so many things you can do to make this like as unobtrusive as possible, but also as important as possible.
Yeah,
European fans being unhappy about this is understandable because everyone likes to gatekeep their
yeah,
you know what would be cool is if Coppa Italia or something they do.
but that's what they do already in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but Saudi, I would rather have that market in the States. I'd
Like
rather
if-
try to do a Copa Italia
if
They
do
game.
get a
both.
bag. They get
If
a
let's
bag.
say
Yeah.
if that would be cool if it would make the let's say FA Cup for English teams we start doing round of 16 and above in the US. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but then you're going every 3 weeks?
But the issue
Prem
with
don't
that
need
is,
it.
but
Prem
the
don't
issue
need
with
it.
that is that let's say you get a pretty shitty like the FA Cup literally right now the 8 teams
Good
that
luck.
won't sell tickets.
Yeah,
That's a oddity. Well, actually, no. Even when Man United won the FA Cup,
Like there's a lot of shit teams that make it through.
Yeah.
Sadly,
I think we'll see with the Club World Cup. Like I know there's some lower level teams, but the big boys are still going. Like there's Manchester City, there's Real Madrid, Inter's there, Juve.
yeah.
Like these are good games to watch in the US. So we'll see if there's a interest there.
There's just so much stigma around United States and football, like soccer. Europeans like just this like even like we were talking about the halftime show.
they're trying to gatekeep their sport.
Yeah, and you see in the comments like they're talking about like what why are Americans choosing these things and stuff like that. Like, bro, if you're a fan of Serie A and you live in Italy, don't you want the sport to grow?
I
Don't
think-
you see how
yeah.
shit the league is right now, and you want the league to grow and get a different market?
But I think we're looking at it from an outside looking in perspective.
Yes.
I feel like Italians in Italy may think like it's just them in Europe.
Yeah, but look where
That's
that
it.
got them.
But it's
Yeah.
not like I don't know. It's more of a. I think it's an emotional thing because like the halftime show is, say your team is losing 3-0. You're a Roma fan, born in Rome, and you're watching a halftime show. Like it's not like the NFL where your teams you don't really have an attachment to them. Like do you have an attachment to the Dolphins?
Well,
It's more like
I mean, I would hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
no, but you're not from Miami. Like you
Oh,
don't.
okay, like,
you're
I
not.
don't
That's not who you are. Like
Yeah, like I'm
Do you
not.
get
I'm
what I'm
not,
trying
I'm
to
not
say?
a Miami like native. I don't have affinity to Miami.
Yeah.
What you're saying, but I have an affinity to Italy and Inter.
yes,
But it's not. It's
more
not
emotional.
for the people in the stadium. It's for the TV people watching on TV.
Exactly. So imagine I'm from Rome and my favorite team is Roma and I'm watching Roma get destroyed 3-0 and then there's a halftime show.
No,
of
but
Yeah,
it's
but
World Cup.
at least you get a Drake concert out of it.
But bro, I don't want a Drake concert. I'm fucking. I
I
want to
would
die
like
right
it.
now.
Man United
Yeah,
could be
but-
down 4-0. I'll
but-
take a Drake concert. Bro.
But that
That's
Roma,
crazy.
But that one Roma fan is always going to be a Roma fan regardless of where they play the game. They
Bro,
could be
turn it off.
upset. They
I
could be
fucking hate
upset.
these fans, bro. I saw everyone in the comments exactly what you just said.
But I
bro,
see what
imagine
they're
you're
saying.
losing 2-0 and then you see Drake come out and start rapping. Bro, close the TV if you don't want to watch
Yeah.
it. It's entertainment. For a World Cup final, you're already getting 300 million people watching it. If you put a halftime show and you have 500 million people watching it, the sport is growing. Like, look at the big picture, everyone.
I'm for.
It's not about
I'm for a halftime
losing
show.
at halftime.
I'm just saying, if your team is playing there and you're from that city that your team is from, you're just.
it's countries. This is for the World Cup. They're talking about the halftime thing.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
not for
World
Champions
Cup,
League.
World Cup final.
The World Cup is even worse. Imagine
I
your
don't think
country is
so.
losing in
I
a
really don't
final,
think so.
and a halftime show comes up. I don't think you guys. It's because maybe like you guys don't have the
Close
affinity.
your TV, bro.
I have the
You don't have.
affinity.
They're not
Yeah.
forcing you to watch.
You're not
Coldplay.
like.
Yeah, bro. If
Bro,
Italy, if Italy was
if-
down 2-0 in a World Cup
You wanna
final,
This guy
kill
is about
yourself.
to say you're not Italian.
Yeah, your
bro. I get
citizenship is revoked.
Yeah, sure. But when
No.
it comes time for fucking Euros and World Cup and shit, I'm as devoted as
yeah.
anyone.
But like, if Italy was down 2-0 in a World Cup final, and then I see Drake singing "Hotline Bling," like I'm not gonna say like I hate Italy. I hate this. I
You're
don't
gonna be
wanna-
like, okay, what is this?
I mean, I'm
But
just
that's
gonna watch it.
1% of viewers.
What do you mean? Okay.
Bro, get over it, bro. I went to the Montreal Canadiens in a Champions League final, in a Stanley Cup final, down 3-0 in a 7-game series versus Tampa, and I'm sitting there and we're losing or whatever it was, and my team's about to lose in a Stanley Cup final. That is like the Champions League for NHL, and I'm listening to like them panning on the screen of people dancing on the jumbotron.
Like Canadians.
Yeah,
fan.
Montreal Canadiens at the Bell Center, like people dancing on the jumbotron and trying to spruce up the vibe.
Maybe I have the European mindset, but I do not understand that. I personally, like, I cannot see myself dancing in a stadium while my team is losing 3-0 and there's a halftime show going
Well,
on.
they kind of do.
I like the idea of it. I don't
Not
mind it.
for the people in the stadium.
Who's it for?
It's for the viewers.
Yeah, they do it for the viewers.
The
You think
viewers.
Kendrick
what?
Lamar cares
I'm a
about-
viewer.
You're a viewer in the stadium. You're literally 0.0001%.
Okay, I'm a
watching
viewer
the game.
watching
home.
on TV. It's the same. What are you saying?
So you're okay. People who actually have emotional investment within a game, let's
Yes.
say a World Cup, is literally 0.1% or 1% of the viewers.
Yeah.
Let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say it's Italy versus Argentina World Cup final. Let's just say that's population of what? Fucking how many are in Italy? 40,
60?
50 million.
50, 40.
So let's just say Argentina.
So let's say 100 million.
100 million people. There's
Doing the math.
20%. This is generous. 20% of people watching the game have an emotional investment to it.
That's generous.
That's
super generous.
super
Bro,
generous.
Our parents, our moms, our aunts, our cousins, our dad,
Yeah.
all people that may not be intense football fans are watching
How
that
much?
game.
How much has this halftime show grown the Super Bowl?
Massive.
Massively,
But-
bro. You go on Twitter and UK people aren't speaking at all about the game, but they're speaking about the halftime show. Oh my God! You see Kendrick Lamar diss Drake? Did
No
you see-
one spoke about the game.
No one.
after
I don't
that
see
Super
a single tweet
Is
about
that
the
good
game.
though?
It
Like,
brings
Something.
eyes, bro.
It's something. Because now people are gonna watch the next year if it's a debatable
But
person.
I would say like do the halftime show, but only in the States, like the World Cup
course.
for the
Yes,
US.
special events.
I disagree.
No,
I
no.
think every World Cup final
No.
should have.
If
a halftime.
Chelsea's
think
losing
so.
4-0 to West Ham at home at halftime, you're not gonna see Central C come out.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Day in
saying.
the life. Let's see if you really trap. You're not doing. No, I would fucking get pissed off too.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it's.
But
the
that would
halftime
make
show-
for amazing content on
hilarious.
football Twitter, though.
fucking funny.
Yeah,
that
but-
would make amazing content.
But what I'm saying is that like the halftime show is something specific to the Super Bowl. That's an American thing. So the World Cup is in America. You would do the halftime show in America because that's like the custom for a big sporting event in the United States. But let's say they bring that World Cup to Argentina.
It should still be
I'm not-
done.
I'm not
It
expecting.
should be an.
I'm
it
not
should
expecting
be,
a halftime
It should be a.
show.
It should be.
South American artist.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be
Bad
something
Bunny.
like that.
The
But
not
Bad
Bad
Bunny's from
Copa
Puerto
America.
Rico. But yeah.
huh?
I said Bad Bunny, but Bad Bunny's from Puerto Rico. But yeah.
sings?
Zavalda, Digidita.
Bro,
You hear that one?
this is
Yeah,
the
Boca
Copa
Juniors
Mike
down
Towers.
3-0.
Wait, was it the Copa Libertadores that had that? You see all those things that they reference
yeah.
that halftime show.
It was like
Was it Copa
a specific. It was a specific band to that specific town.
Like when
Yeah.
all the palms, the palms, and the guys just singing this mariachi band. But bro, and find solutions. If you don't want a halftime show because you don't want to watch Roma because you're a Roma fan losing a half, bro, put it at the beginning. Everyone would enjoy watching Coldplay.
Well, they do that in
on
Europe.
TV.
Like the Euros, they would do like an
that.
opening. They
That's-
do an
that's a good
opening
idea.
show.
Bro,
But
an
they do that
opening
anyways.
ceremony.
Opening ceremony. They do that
let's say
anyways.
the Olympics.
Bro, my family, they don't give a shit about football. They care just about important matches. They would all tune in and they enjoy watching Coldplay perform before a World Cup. But you have to choose the right artists. All
Bro,
the time.
and like it or not, like the male population in Europe has probably totally been sucked into soccer or football. Like a lot of girls watch the Super Bowl just for the halftime show.
Okay. Like,
So it will help grow the sport also because it's gonna attract female viewership also.
but what? Now they're gonna start watching football. Like,
Yeah, but I'm not.
what's the
At
goal?
least they're gonna know. Oh, they're gonna
But they
say,
know there's
let's
a
say,
World
let's
Cup
say,
already.
Let's say Inter make a CL final. Okay, a girl doesn't know who Lautaro Martinez is.
Good.
But
They
if
gonna
they're
know after
sitting,
that final.
if there's a Drake halftime show,
Shit, now I'm gonna know.
they'll sit through the first half while speaking to their, who's that? Lautaro Martinez.
I would take her, put her in another room. I'm watching my game.
Shit.
That's what it
So
is.
so now that girl is gonna be watching Serie A
No,
because of Lautaro.
But she'll know. At least she'll know.
But bro, you have a better chance than if you don't do anything.
Yes.
And they're not even changing anything about the actual game. It's literally just a halftime show. But the
I
only
know.
thing they're changing is the time of halftime because it won't be just 15
It'll
minutes.
have to be 30 minutes.
It'll be like 20 to 30 minutes, and that really affects the players. So
They get more rest.
So do 20
yeah,
minutes.
they end up getting
But,
cold.
If you do it at the beginning, I like that idea. Like it's
No, I would say
more
do it at
logical.
Like halftime is better because it makes them watch the
Yes.
the first half.
Doesn't work.
Okay, here's my. I'm gonna ask you.
Amer-
Would you lose viewers by doing it?
No.
Would you see someone say, "I'm not watching because of the halftime"?
Well, you're
Boycott.
saying no, probably not.
So
depends.
what's
well,
the con?
these emotional people who have affinity to the team, they might turn off.
They're watching no
they're
matter
watching
what.
it regardless.
You could put a 2-hour halftime show. They'll watch because they want to watch their team.
Really. Italy's
Yes.
down 5-0. You're watching Drake.
Okay, that's like a really like
We're
if
talking
it's-
about extreme situations, once in generation type games.
Bro, the France-Argentina game, you put a banger at halftime, I'm going nuts.
Loses the momentum, I find.
Bro, because you have to realize, bro, that like Favre said, the people that actually care, like that super care,
Are watching no matter
are
what.
So, and they're
I
watching
know,
no matter what, and
I know.
and it's such a small percent. Like we all watched the Argentina France. We couldn't
Yes.
care. We didn't really. We wanted Messi maybe to win, or we maybe had small agendas, but we don't have affinity for France or Argentina. We would have benefited by a halftime show. It's more entertainment. I
You're
find,
getting a free Drake concert, bro.
Yeah.
What are we complaining about?
I think what it is that they may see it as like
want Drake, bro.
I think what they're seeing is that
Doesn't
like,
matter who it is.
they see it as like it's almost like commodifying the World Cup final or something where
Okay.
it becomes like a product.
I agree.
It is a product.
That's what
No, but
Europeans
it's
see
a
it as.
sacred game. At the end of the day, it's a game
then-
that only happens every 4
Okay, so
years.
you're-
Then what are you
sacred
gonna
game,
do? Charge
so-
more? You're
so
gonna
you're-
charge more for the tickets?
They're already 30,000. Like you're
30
already
billion
That's
dollars.
because you're in the U.S. and they're known.
No,
to
anywhere in
commodify
any
everything.
final,
yes.
any World Cup final, the tickets are gonna the same price.
But you add a Drake now, it fucking went up.
Who cares about the tickets to the game, bro? That's like fucking 50,000 people.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like
50,000 of
football
the-
is a sport for everyone. Like it's not supposed to be.
No one is saying that. You have to
Bro, a
understand.
Brazilian in
Oh
a
my
favela
God.
is not going to World Cup final
You have to
because
see
Drake's
it's a game
going.
it's a game for everyone. It's a game for everyone. So everyone gets a free Drake concert out of it, bro. The sport of football allowed a kid in the Brazilian favelas to watch a Drake concert for free.
I think the point is getting lost. Like from
No,
what Frank
because
is
the
saying.
Europeans gatekeep this fucking sacredness of the game. Their sport will get smaller if they always think like this.
still the first
biggest sport in the world
it's
ever.
the
Meanwhile, NFL's going into Europe, no issue, selling out massive stadiums, selling out Wembley and shit, Tottenham Stadium for games.
Americans know how to market shit. They just know how to market stuff.
But if a European wants to go into USA, it's the end of the world.
Because USA is soccer.
Yeah.
It's soccer. Poison soccer.
We'll see with the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
First thing in the U.S.
Yeah,
that's,
we'll see like something with
that's gonna
But
be the
once
gauge.
again, that could low-key be we'll see how it ends up. But there's a possibility of it just being a glorified preseason tournament.
I mean,
There's
with the
a
money that they're
possibility.
throwing around,
the
throwing
clubs
around,
are
too.
gonna care.
they're gonna care.
The fans might not care.
You better
but the
put an
clubs will care.
incentive.
No, I'm sure fans will care.
Bro,
too.
you can make more. Juventus, in theory, can technically make more than they made in Champions League this year at the Club World Cup.
Yeah, winners making like 150 million or whatever,
I thought it was 98.
100.
Yeah.
something crazy
But
like
still,
that.
bro, imagine you
Clubs can
90
make in excess of 100 million, I read.
Yeah, okay.
But
that's what
just for playing, you make 30.
I'll take that any day of the week, bro. That's a transfer waiting to happen.
That's a Peter Sucic right there.
bro. That's a Mateta.
Throw in a Drake concert
a
to get more
Mateta.
viewers.
No, not even.
That's a Mateta, bro.
No, bro, we don't.
just show
we
up,
don't
you
shop
just
in
got
the
Mateta.
we don't shop in the liquidation aisle, bro. Worry about your own purchases.
Yeah, okay. I'll be playing at the Club World Cup, bro.
Bro,
Okay.
Dorgu, you bought
That's
that off
fine.
the back of a truck, bro.
Huh?
Forget the liquidation aisle. Dorgu, that's the back. That's
Bro,
the back of a
Dorgu,
truck.
you got off of like a Fiat Topolino, bro. That's what you got it.
Topolino.
You got it at the back of a Fiat 600. That's what you got it out of. You didn't get out of the
You
back
can't
of
be
the truck.
making fun of Fiat, bro.
Don't worry, not so soon.
I can't.
Big announcement coming
Big announcement, big announcement. The new Box2Box mobile.
We
Our
can't
clown
fit
car.
in it, but
Our clown car. No, but I'm excited for the Club World Cup. I don't know about a halftime show. If they do something like that, that'd be crazy. But it does lead in to our next topic, though, which is 64 teams in the World Cup. Which,
Okay, this is where we draw the line.
Yeah.
yeah. Halftime show.
The sacred game. We need the sacred game.
Sacred game, 64 teams in that.
too
Yeah,
many.
no, they're already, because the plan is, I think what they said was for this U.S. World Cup, they're already expanding from 32 to 48.
Huge.
And then the 100th anniversary, they want to go from 48 to 64. Now, hear me out. I'm
Not
not
fucking let anybody play in the World Cup. bro.
Yeah, my God. at
I'm
this
not
point.
completely against it as long as it's a one-time thing. 100th anniversary, it was 64 teams, and that's it. Next World Cup, it's back to 32.
I don't like
Well,
that.
I'd be back to 48.
Because, well, I would prefer 32,
I
but
prefer
whatever.
32
I
as
prefer
well.
32 is
32
fun.
also because and it also makes the qualifying more entertaining also.
Like, you're able to watch everything.
But from a money standpoint, you want to get as many teams in as possible
As an
because
Italian, bro, as many teams as possible.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yes.
please.
But if it were
128, bro, I'm good.
Put them all in.
if it were just a one-time thing, 64 teams, I think it could be pretty cool. But
FA Cup, though.
permanently changing the 64 would be
But
terrible.
bro, it happens once every 4 years. Like it's too special to like
To
put,
mess with.
put like an odd.
But you have to.
100th
This is
year
100th anniversary. This is like a special.
Okay, bro. I think
So
if
make
I
it
ask
extra good.
99% of fans, they don't know where it was hosted. The first one was hosted. They didn't know what year. Like
Yeah, but they
know,
could
like,
they
it's-
could profit off of the historic part
Yeah.
of it. The 100th anniversary. Whoever wins this World Cup, you want on the 100th
Yeah,
anniversary.
Super Bowl 50.
Yeah,
Like
that was a
Super-
big
I don't
thing.
know where the fuck the first Super Bowl was, but Super Bowl 50 is a pretty special
I just find
event.
you're like they're trying to harp on like something that is
Yes.
just a number.
But it's not
Yeah.
just a number.
I know, but to change it to 64.
64 teams, the quality of play is gonna severely plummet, and
That's my problem.
unfortunately, 64 games.
Depends where these 64
Well,
teams are
14?
coming from.
Yeah, well,
you're gonna get-
There's gonna be a qualification.
Like, I
and-
don't want to see Fiji in the World Cup.
Well, you will.
You will.
You will enjoy that. Enjoy that.
No, you see, if honestly,
All the stats are gonna get cooked. Like
But the
that
games are
India,
gonna get cooked.
Like India, well, this team's never made a World Cup. Now they're gonna have made it because it's the 64.
so what's it's an extra 16 teams. If 10 of them came from Europe, I wouldn't mind.
I don't know.
Gatekeeping.
If
No,
Manchester
but it's 'cause-
United
no,
made the
no,
World
but
Cup,
get-
I'd like it.
It's back to my Super League argument. The most quality is in the European teams.
But cream will rise to the top if given the right
Yeah.
qualifications.
Just the World Cup is for the world. So however they decide to divvy up the remainder.
I was saying like if
Yeah.
they split the extra 16 by saying, okay, Asia you get 4, Africa
Yeah.
you get 4, North America, North.
That's going to dwindle the quality
Yes,
a lot.
Yes.
because they're going to be forced to take
Asian
another
football is
Asian
not
country.
at the level. Like if you start including like Pakistan's national team is not to the level of who's like a country that missed the World Cup.
like a
Sweden.
Italy.
Italy.
Like
Italy.
Sweden plays Pakistan, that's gonna end 7-0.
Yeah.
Isaac hat-trick.
And then plus just watching these games, it's gonna be an absolute disaster. Like there might be like 4 or 5 games at the same
it's part
time.
of the
And I
scheduling.
said that there's a level of diluting the fun of having like max. How many groups are we usually? 'Cause now it's
8.
changing.
It's letters, no? A B C D E F G.
It's 8.
8. So now you're gonna have with 64 teams divided by what
4.
4. Then you're gonna have
16?
Let's
Does that
box
even
to box math.
does it even
16.
divide?
16. I
16.
did that first.
you're gonna have 16 groups. See, that sucks.
But for me, it's fine if you do it once. Like if it was that one World Cup where there was
That makes it even
64
worse,
teams,
bro.
Like
Yeah,
And then what? You're gonna go back to 48 or
it's
32?
as a celebration. Like
celebratory tournament.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's so fun, bro. The World Cup's already fun.
Yeah, I know.
Like I don't think we need to celebrate 100. Like make it 100 years as like.
And it happens
centennial
every
thing.
4 years. Like you're gonna
If
waste
it
a year.
happened every year, okay.
Yeah.
Bro, these players are gonna get so gassed.
Because this is not the 100th World Cup. This is the.
100th anniversary.
But how many World Cups have happened since then?
Not that
If
many.
it's divided by 425.
This is the 25th. Like, bro, 25, and you're making the 25th one special.
But was it
Yeah.
was the 1940?
30.
No, it was
34,
19 was
38.
1942 was probably canceled.
Yeah.
That one
Why?
was probably
No, it was
canceled.
hosted in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was he-
Bro, 1942 World Cup was not hosted in Germany, bro. I can't tell.
Oh, it was. You never saw the picture of
I don't
Pele?
know. I don't remember.
Are you fucking stupid?
Box to box
19
conversation.
Bro, you know what was happening in 1942?
Something was
I'm well aware of what was happening in 1942. But the world wasn't
Something
clearly
was
aware.
happening,
Nottingham Forest was
Nottingham.
top of the league, no?
I think Inter wasn't winning Serie A that.
I'm gonna be careful, Vara, but I'm gonna get this information.
I'm
out of
telling you, 1942.
1938.
38. was in Germany.
1942 vacated. 1946
No, but I'm
Italy.
damn, bro.
4-6?
This is crazy what I'm saying.
Yes.
Do not search up
1938 World Cup.
not
German
search up.
team. Vara, that includes you.
Yeah, dude. Now it's like don't press the red button.
Yeah.
He's
Now
about to
we're
start
looking it up.
nuclear
But
war.
all I'm saying is, I'm sure there was a World Cup that got canceled somewhere in time. So
Yeah, but I mean, it
That's
just
like-
so happens that it works out.
yeah,
I don't think they're looking at the 25th. They're
that's
looking
like
at the
us
100th
making
anniversary.
a podcast every 4 years, and then the
1
100
year?
100 years later, where it's only our 25th episode,
Yeah,
we do something special.
good man.
Don't give us
But
ideas.
I'm thinking of this, bro. 64 teams. There's gonna be so many games, and it's not like this is the one tournament in
Bro,
4
live
years,
streaming that,
brother. There's Club World Cup. Then there's the Euros.
Get
then
to
there's-
work.
Then there's other stuff that happens in between, AFCON, whatnot. Brother, then the World Cup.
Oh my God.
Jeepers.
Did Ronaldo get 1,000
Get
goals
the
yet?
live stream going.
Yabba dabba do. Oh my.
Imagine
You
us
might get
having
it
to
now.
stream 16 groups.
Bro, might have to put more screens up, is what I'm seeing. Holy
Say we
guacamole.
tear on the walls.
Bro, I'm saying TV.
Yeah, you'll cover 1/5 of the games going on.
Literally.
But that was a good. Those were some good topics.
Yeah,
at
and
the
if you
end.
guys want to see the CL preview,
Yes.
That's what I was
Yes.
gonna tell them.
make sure to
Yes.
check us out
So
on
our
Patreon.
Champions League preview, like last week, is gonna be going out on our Patreon, where we have an extended podcast. Last week, this week, we're gonna see in the future, but
Yeah.
for now, we're enjoying the extended pods.
Yeah.
So if you want to see what we think about the second legs, then go check it out there.
We
And
got a
if-
new video, YouTube exclusive.
Exactly.
Patreon exclusive coming out
Patreon
soon.
exclusive YouTube video coming
Yeah.
out soon on Patreon. And if none of that stuff interests you,
We're live streaming
We're
on
live
Tuesday
streaming
and
on
Wednesday,
Tuesday
so
and
you'll
Wednesday.
catch us our live
catch, yeah.
reactions.
Yeah.
Inter's gonna be on the TV.
You could also
Oh,
check out our highlights of the reaction after if you guys really want.
Yeah.
However, be on the live streams because
It's actually kind of mental how much content we put out thinking about it. Like explaining
thinking about it.
Explaining it, it's actually insane.
yeah.
Get to work, bro.
we're not done yet.
Day's not done.
Today, no, we're not done.
Job finished.
Job ain't
Oh,
done.
we're
Job not finished,
Yeah,
bro.
we are not finished.
Job is not finished.
But that was episode 48. And if you guys want to see anything special for episode 50, maybe
Ooh.
leave some comments, maybe give us some inspiration.
Yeah, exactly.
But, we'll see.
Conversaciones.
We'll double the members to 8.
What?
for what?
Like the 64 teams, we'll double the box to box.
We'll do a
members.
halftime
find
show.
4. Yeah,
Halftime show.
producer T reveal at halftime on our podcast.
Halftime show. Producer T halftime
But
show.
also last thing.
Last thing.
Last
on the
thing.
agenda.
Power rankings next week on the podcast. So
Best time of the year.
You know what would have been
Yes.
crazy? Power rankings, episode 50.
Inter
conversations. We make this episode 49. Who says no?
Go.
Conversaciones,
Cool.
hermano.
Inter number 7.
Midweek emergency podcast to get 49 out. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace out.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.